All right, Josh Hill, should we try and record this podcast again?
Let's do it.
How long do you reckon we just did? Like, we only got a few minutes in, eh?
Yeah, probably like 10 minutes. It's not too bad.
Doesn't happen often. This is my first away game with this new setup. So
at least I got to do it. I mean, my schedule is just too packed, and your schedule is packed. I mean, I wish I could just go up to the Gold Coast and chill, but I'm pretty full on while I'm out here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would. I definitely want to get as many people in there like as we can, just because it's just like a different experience. But this is, I mean, fuck, you just got to do it when you can do it. I'd rather have the podcast than not, right?
Well, maybe another time I'll make it up there and we rehash it.
Dude, you've come. How many times have you come to Australia to race now?
This is my third time. Like I just did the full season in 2013.
Yeah.
With just like a privateer effort with the Hart and Huntington Australia guys, like Cale Wallace.
That's right.
Yeah, and
dude, that's a trip. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and then I mean, we should have won that. Really, I mean, the last race kind of was. It was. I mean, I got ripped. I feel like, but besides that,
was that the Mossy thing?
Yeah.
Dude, retell that. I completely forgot about all of that.
Well, so I mean, just the season started off like I showed up and kind of thought like we were gonna have a factory effort a little bit, like because I was on RCH back in the States, and Kenny Watson lined it all up, and basically I got out and they just like bought a bike, sent it to Pro Circuit, which Pro Circuit didn't do our stuff then, like and then like just sent over some A-kit suspension, and then like we had a trailer like that we went to the races with, which Cale Wallace was just the H&H importer.
Yeah.
And
that had literally never run a race team.
Yeah, I mean he helped out some people, like he did run a race team, but not like what I guess I was accustomed to.
Yeah.
So if I would have known that going in, I could have like planned it out a little better. But I just kind of showed up, and we had a guy who was he was a car mechanic, was my mechanic.
Yeah, right.
And like the first round, he, like everything was going good, and then for the main, he put my clutch in wrong. And then for the second, this was in Darwin too. It was like 100 degrees out. And then for the second main, he forgot to tighten my axle. And so like the first two rounds were just a wash. We were in this big hole, and then won a bunch, and then we came into won a bunch, got into the points lead only in like it was like 7 rounds. I think I won every one, maybe got 1 second or something from then on out. And then final round I just had to finish behind Mossy and would have had the championship, and Jake decided to cut through the infield and just clean me out. Like I just passed him as clean as could be and just wanted to just race, and he just landed, ripped inside the tough blocks and just teed me up straight. You let your guard down, like, I covered the inside as tight as I possibly could have, and then just bam.
Fuck. And like, what do you do? Like, what, it's like you can't do anything different in that situation, right?
I don't think I could have done anything. I did it so good. Like the whole weekend I was on point. I had it. I was way faster. I mean, we wasn't even like really battling all season. I just gave myself a points deficit in the beginning. Yeah. So it was whatever. I wouldn't even got a bonus for winning. If I would have got a bonus for winning the championship, I would have been like,
you would have been pissed.
Heated.
Yeah.
But I just kind of brushed it off, and it was whatever. I mean, I don't think you ever beat me again.
That's so gnarly. Dude, I completely forgot about that. Dude, that's one of those things where it's like, I always said it even before Matt and Jake went to America. I was like, especially in the lights class, because you used to get a ton of the US dudes come over, and I was like, dude, come here and try and beat them, but like, they felt like unbeatable in Australia, especially because there was 2 of the motherfuckers and they would like clean anyone out. It was like, it's a big ask to come to Australia and race the Moss brothers, regardless of how fast they're going.
Yeah, and
that proved that shit.
For sure. They were a formidable opponent for sure. Like dealing with both of them, you'd be in practice and like they'd go out and set the fast lap, then you have to like deal with 2 of them like trying to slow you up while you'd put in a fast lap in practice. I mean, it was funny, but whatever. It's racing and you learn from it, and that's how some people are. Racing. It's not a game. It's a way of life. It's a sport. It's full contact. It is what it is. I mean, I think if it was in the States and somebody came through and missed, cut through the infield and cleaned you out, at least like that person would get DQ'd. But whatever.
Can you imagine if you did it, being the American?
Oh, I would have got destroyed. It would have been a riot. But hey, we're visitors here. We're guests. So I mean, I still loved my time here. I stayed with Cade Mosig the whole time, and Oh man, his whole family looked after me, and Cade was just the coolest dude ever. Like, I really hope I get to see him while I'm over here.
Yeah, you should, right? He'll be floating around
Yeah,
Melbourne.
he's close by. I just gotta take time and go see him.
They moved to the Goldie, didn't they?
I think he's back in Melbourne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
But like, got to hang out with him, and actually that's how I got to meet like the CDR guys, because he was riding for him.
Ah.
And so I got to know like Brad and Daka, and just kind of just from hanging around Cade. And then Lee Hogan was helping me out like during the a little bit, just like coming to the track and helping me out. Like, it was just a really cool deal. So I mean, I loved it. It was a good time.
So then you did, the first time was the H&H team, and then what was the second time you come out?
I came out for Management.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually like after, so I pretty much I didn't announce my retirement, but I was like, I had accepted a job at Monster. Like, I crashed at Daytona after all the backflip, all the stuff. I came back, and it was going pretty good.
You were doing pretty good, right?
And then Roxon went over to RCH, and that kind of took took my spot. And so I was riding a private. I couldn't get anything together. I thought I was gonna have a pro circuit 450 ride. I thought maybe we could work something out, because I was riding. Mitch was helping me out all through the off season.
Yeah.
And then I got this little Yamaha deal, and I just had no time to get used to it, and didn't really put in good results. And then at Daytona, I tried this big double that wasn't a double. And I mean, I was riding really good, but I just clipped it and just went over the bars and collapsed both my lungs and ripped my collarbone, the plate off my collarbone, like snapped it, ripped it off, broke like almost my whole rib cage on one side. Had to drive myself home from Daytona, Florida, because I couldn't fly after that. And it was just like, I was over it. And then I didn't even touch a dirt bike, and got a call to go race Management. And I want, that sounds cool. Like, what? And I just didn't practice. I just showed up and raced, and like, I actually did pretty good. Like I did not bad, really, all said and done. But it was really cool. Like, Western Australia is sick. Got to meet one of my buddies, just is like a surfer that lives out there, and he picked me up. And he's just a buddy. Like, he's not in the random. He's just a buddy. Like, he used to come out to California and hang with us and stuff. And I went and visited him, and we went and rode his bikes all along the beach and watched him surf. And it was just, I loved it out there. It was nice. Yeah,
dude, that race is like underrated, I feel, because they get big dudes there every year, and a lot of times, like, even not that, I guess for the last couple of years, maybe it's like, I'll go, oh damn, like, I didn't even know they were here. Like, I feel like that race could be super big, because it's a cool ass track. Like, the vibe's cool. They like pay good prize money. Yeah, I mean, the locals love it, man. They go nuts. Like, yeah, it's a cool deal. Like, I had a blast, and just the beach and the coastline, just out there, it's beautiful too. Like, it was just cool to see a different side of things. You've always been the kind of dude that it seems like that loved to do the whole travel thing, and like, were you just not the dude that wanted to like have a routine and just stay in the grind? Like, was a dirt bike more of just like a fun thing for you, even when you were racing? Yeah, I mean, I just love riding. Like, and it's funny, I'm 30 now and probably been hurt more than just about anybody, and I love it right now more than I've ever loved it my whole life. But that was, for me, like, it was a little bit different than, now it's like you got like Alden Baker, you got like the Baker factory, you got like Club MX, you got all these places where you can just basically like, just you show up there and they're going to make you into a factory champion. And back in the day, there really wasn't like a blueprint for it. You just kind of, like, what worked for me, I thought, was, obviously when I had off time and I wasn't in the middle of the season, I'd train, and try to build a base. And when I was a kid, I mean, my dad would make me just put on hoodies and jackets and thermals and go run in the middle of the summer and just run up hills. And I mean, I trained so hard as a kid, and then like I never got tired, like, ever when I rode. So I'd always feel like, why am I training? Like, I don't get tired. So then as I went pro, I just started just riding all the time. Like back in, like, when me and J-Law were real close, like, we would just go, like, we'd ride Supercross in the morning. Like, Rhino was our trainer, and we'd ride Supercross in the morning. Then we'd go do a little bit in the gym with Rhino, and then we'd come back, and we had pit bike tracks everywhere. Or we had our own personal bikes that we bought, and we'd go ride like Star West at night. And then we just keep doing that. Like, the amount of riding that I did when I was like 18 to, or let's say 17 until I got hurt was like, I don't think anybody rode as much as I did. Really? I just loved riding. Dude, Ty Simmons was like that. Did you ever meet Ty when he went out in America?
Yeah.
That motherfucker just rode, bro. And like Nate would, because the teams in America, they like you to have a structure. Like that's not what those guys like you to do. They like to set the time that you're at the track, and then it sort of is like a job in that sense, eh? It's like everyone in the team's like, all right, we're at the track at 9, and then you get there, then you go have lunch, the guys go back and watch the bikes, and then it's like the rest of the day is yours to do whatever. But like they planned your riding, and you didn't really go outside that.
And I mean, I get it, and especially like as the bikes get more technical and they get more just like, you know, expensive to run, and like, you know, you're basically, if you're on a 250 team, like, and you have a good bike, that bike's got a time limit of 10 hours, and then you got to redo that, and in the middle of that 10 hours, like, you have to be keeping up on all the maintenance to let it run for 10 hours. Like, they're running them so high at the peak of power, and just, you know, just on the verge of being unstable, that you kind of have to be like that now. Like, you can't just wing it anymore, you know, like that. I don't know, that was a cool thing about, I always just had like a stock 450, and then that was my bike that I would just take, and it have like not motocross suspension, not supercross suspension, like somewhere in the mix, and I just ride it on everything. Dude,
Hanny used to do that a lot. Like Hanny only had like one set of suspension, and he'd do it for like, he'd ride supercross on it, and then he'd ride outdoor stuff on it. And like, I remember going to Parlour a couple of times with him, like, well, it's like rough, and he had like full soupy stuff, and he was like, dude, I just don't give a fuck, like I just want to come ride.
Yeah, just ride. I mean, look at him now, like that guy loves riding dirt bikes just as much as anybody. Like, it's funny, as we get older, like I'll talk to Josh, and we're just like, we just talk about how much we love riding. It's so funny. Like, you get past all the cool guy stuff, or this, like, any, you know, just trying to be sweet, or these sponsors, and it gets back to just your love for, you know, what we grew up doing.
Well, anyone that follows you on Instagram right now, it's like you literally ride every fucking motorcycle that exists, bro. Like the hill climb deal, the fucking whatever that little weird mountain bike is, the fucking Tesla bike that you've got. Like, it's so sick. Like, you look like a Grom now, dude.
I'd love it, man. Hill climbs, snow bikes,
dude, snow bikes.
Supercross, motocross, e-bikes. Like, I took this thing out the other day. It's like a mountain bike. It's an electric mountain bike scooter.
Yeah, dude.
And the thing is so fun.
You wanted it too, right?
No, that was like, it's like that's a Kuberg freerider. That thing's like a
fuck, dude. What are these things?
Yeah, I just like, well, when I did the Alta thing, like, so I just seen Altas. Like, I seen the picture of them come out. I was like, that thing real? Like, that thing's sick. And I was living in San Clemente, and with Gage Shear's parents' place. Yeah, so with Dylan Shear, and we would like sneak out and go ride our dirt bikes in the trails and stuff around there. And I seen this bike. Well, I gotta reach out to these people. I gotta try this thing. So I just hit them up like, hey, what's going on? I'm Josh. Like, I think I could maybe like, get some eyes on your bike. You think I could set up a test ride? Like, I just reached out to him that way.
That's
like,
so sick.
Customer service, email, like Instagram. Because I just thought that is the sickest thing. Like, I can go ride anywhere and not get in trouble, like not get chased out. Yeah. Unless I'm creating dust and, you know, doing it that way, nobody's gonna get mad. Yeah. So reached out to them, and then, you know, I just wanted to ride the thing, and then they kind of came to me like, hey, we really want you to race Red Bull Straight Rhythm, and that thing was nowhere near ready. Like, really, it had a good power band, but like it still had like 4 CS forks or something.
Yeah, because they come out with like really ghetto forks at the start.
The first sets of suspension, like we took it out and they brought us this suspension that they built in house, and the first jump, the suspension blew apart. Like, just we went straight spring, just whoosh, whoosh, like second. They like, oh, we got this. Second set, same thing. Third set, same thing. Then we get suspension on it, and that's good. And then like I start ripping on it, and then I come into the whoops for the first time, blow the chain off, like just about die. And then we're like, okay, we'll fix that. You know, like we had to just and I was working at Monster, so I would like literally, I had vacation days, and I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna take a vacation day, I want to go mess around.
Dude,
like,
how fucked up was that? Having to tell someone that you were gonna take a vacation day. I loved my job at Monster. It was so good, especially for me in the place I was. Like, I wasn't complaining. I felt so lucky to have that. Yeah.
Like, so I mean, once I got the itch,
it would have just been weird.
Once I got the itch back, then it was like a little bit of an inconvenience, but I still loved it. Like, but anyways, like I had zero time to get ready. I'm like, I guess I'll do it. And like when I showed up to do it, like Then the next thing would be like on the hard landings, it would just shut off. Like one time I tripled onto a tabletop and went to step off, and then like you can't hear it. It doesn't cut out. There's no sound. It just like I twist the throttle and the thing just goes nowhere and just weigh it just right over the bars.
Is it harder to like brace for a crash? Does it make the crashes a bit more awkward because you don't have like a sound reference?
I think I've only crashed that when I was initially testing the bikes and fixing them, and you just get like helping them brace it for Supercross. Like our first like couple weeks together was like the only time I think I've ever crashed on those bikes. Like
really,
I've never like seriously. There's not a more reliable bike in the world than the Alta. I don't even want to tell everybody that because then like they're gonna go buy up all the leftover.
Well, what's the deal with them? Yeah, so they're done.
They're done. Yeah.
How heavy is that, man? Like, what bike has showed more potential than that bike in like, you know what I mean? That's such a crazy revolutionary thing. It's like, how does that go away?
It's heartbreaking, but you know, I think the problem is but they had some investors, and then that, you know, I think they were planning on some things. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the whole deal was. I think
Harley bought them at some point or some shit. Right?
Harley was supposed to be partners, but then I guess that fell. I'm not in the inside. Yeah. I never got a paycheck from those guys. I just get all my information secondhand and go through. You know, like so I worked for them for equipment. That's all it was. Like,
so have you still got some?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Because like my deal was, I'll do these races for you, I'll do this for you, but you know, give me a bike. Give me a bike and we're good.
Yeah.
And so that's how we worked it.
And then what was it like then did you just see riding completely differently? Like what was it like to just like go through that? Like, okay, I can now do fucking everything. Like that would have been pretty cool, right?
Yeah, when you're like a little kid and you drive and you're looking off the side of the road, like, oh dude, what if you hit that? Like that became reality. Like then I was driving around literally like, dude, I'm gonna go hit that. Like, and I would go do it. And I was hanging out with like Buttery a bunch back then. And
that's right.
You know, it's just, you know, you got buddies that they don't have a 9-to-5 jobs or, you know, whatever. You're just like, hey, let's go do this. It's gonna be sick. You want to film it? Like, that's how it worked. And we just roam around doing fun stuff. Like, just hit up a couple buddies. They hit up like Mulford or something, and like, hey, let's go. There's a street spot over here. Let's go let's go do this. And they're like, just anybody, whoever was free. I just be like, yeah, let's go do this.
Were you ever influenced from like skate films and shit when you were a kid? Because your dad was into BMX, right?
I wouldn't say I was like extremely influenced by skate. Like I was just, I loved riding BMX. Like BMX was my thing. And like, I mean, obviously skate lifestyle, like kind of just floats into everything. Like, I mean, that's like the epitome of lifestyle and action sports, right? Yeah. Like skate, like, I mean, at least the majority of people would look at it that way.
I would for sure think so.
I mean, it definitely is one of the...
It was really the first action sport.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I definitely just see stuff and I just think it's cool. I respect the hell out of it, but for me, I can't skate. So it's like kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, you know, like certain things. But
well, BMX has the whole street thing too. So like as a kid watching your dad, and then like I'm sure you watch like BMX, like DVDs and shit or VHSs, like it would have been crazy to like grow up watching that shit and then be able to do it on an Alta.
So yeah, like I had I don't know if, I'm sure people that watch your deal know like Sean Mack. He's just like, he's from Oregon. He's like, he's got his own, you know, fit signature stuff. Like he's just a street guy. He's one of the heaviest street guys of all time, and he's a buddy of mine. So like I hit him up like, yo, let's go do some stuff. So he'd like take me around to spots and we'd just go like hang out. And then like Hobie Doon, he's like up and coming big time. Like he's like top dog in street in my opinion right now. And he would come, like I'd go roll around with him and like Trevi Siglocks. Like I would link up with some like BMX legit street BMX dudes. And it's like we just kind of throw ideas around. And I mean, dirt bikes are really fun in skate parks. But you got to be really good at, like, you got to be like like if you're a dunes rider, like you're not going to be good on a dirt bike in a skate park. But if you're a supercross rider, like you can see stuff through a whole different light. And if you're on a gas bike, like, yeah, right, you might be able to hit it for like 2 seconds, then the cops are going to be there. Yeah. But on these electric bikes, like kids think it's the sickest thing ever. They stop what they're doing, start cheering you on, and now there's your new camera crew. Yeah. Like it's funny, man. Like it was just like almost like a social experiment riding those electric bikes. Because you know, if you did this stuff on a gas powered bike, like people would be going nuts. You'd be like running from the cops. It would be just this whole deal. But then you take away that that loud, aggressive, just annoying sound, which I love it. If I'm in an empty field, I love hearing a bike bark. But if I'm in the middle of a city, that's an annoyance. Yeah. And I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
But then like now you got like an old dude, like 60-year-old dude walking his dog, and like he'll come up and like see me hitting a jump, and he'll stop, and he was like, "That's pretty cool." Like totally different reaction. So I was that was just like, it was just opened up a whole new world for me, and I just loved it, and I still do. I kind of almost just like pick my days now on like what I'm gonna do, because like I don't want to just blow it out, you know. Like I've got some ideas, and I'm sure there's gonna be more stuff, and I just want to get it out there just right. There'll be more electric dirt biking, you know, street, urban, whatever you want to call it. Like, I mean, just having fun, basically, just ride where you're not supposed to, or where you weren't allowed before.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, because they're not in every, you know, and every kid doesn't have one, like even the cops are just kind of like, whoa, hey, what is that? You know, like that thing's cool. Hey, well, hey, there's kids here. Like, you know, you might hurt somebody. Don't, you know, take it out of here. Like that's the reaction I get even from like police. So, you know, when I see them, I like stop to talk to them. Like, yo, hey, how you doing? Like, and they scratch their head. Then that's, for me, it's just fun, man. 'Cause I'm not trying to be a wheelie boy. I'm not trying to be out there like disturbing the peace. Like I don't have to. Like not only to give motocross a bad name, like everybody be happy and just go do some cool fun stuff.
It's crazy too that coincided with Instagram, because it seemed like you and Axel were like the first sort of two new school dudes that like really, I guess Berriman too is actually Berriman, another like you can't leave out the homie. But like you guys were like this new wave of dudes that like did this super specific Instagram content. Buttery also was like maybe one of the kind of pioneers of that new school shit, and it's like, but all this other cool shit coincided with the whole Instagram thing, like Best Whip, and then the electric bikes, and then Buttery doing what, like his stuff,
his own thing.
You know what I mean? Like all of these little like sects kind of broke off right around the time that Instagram was blowing up, and then it's like, it's crazy that you almost got like a second, like a rebirth of your career through that shit, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, I was just kind of like, so yeah, like Axel was he's a little homie, man. Like, love that kid. He's just like, he's just talented. Like you watch him, he just oozes talent. He has like sick style, and the racing wasn't going good for him, and he was about to be like left by the wayside. And you know, because there's so many kids like Axel that are just like insanely talented, but just when it comes down to make or break in Supercross, like a lot of these kids just get, you know, dad runs out of money or they're burnt, and everybody just forgets about him. And Axel is probably the first guy, him and Bierman are probably the first two kids to like just get the attention of everybody, that like, hey, we're not racers, but we're free riders. Like we're not doing double backflips, but we can do some of the coolest stuff ever. It's almost kind of like it came back to like the old school, like the first dudes that weren't doing tricks and shit, but they were still just sending big stuff and pushing the envelope. And then like we'd go out and we'd do like doonies, and then like, you know, it got to the point where like, you know, me and Axel and Bierman, like we'd show up like, who's gonna go the biggest today, like, you know, and we'd be just sending the craziest stuff. And it was so rad because we just all pushed each other and fed off each other, and everybody was homies, and it was really cool, and it was something special for sure. And I mean, it's definitely taken off. I mean, like Axel, like he pretty much runs Instagram now in the moto world, huh? Gnarly, dude. Yeah. It's so heavy. Isn't it funny too that like you, Axel, Berriman are like the super fucking talented, super cruisy, laid back dudes, and like Hanson's in there, J-Law was in there. It's like you guys find yourselves together. And then the Dungeys and the Baggots and the Tickles and those dudes find themselves together. Like, have you ever thought about that? It's kind of weird how it's like shit breaks off into like these little groups, right? It's way funny. Hanson was left out of that equation. Hanson was like, you had like Twitch that kind of made freeride again. Like Twitch brought it back, like 100%. And you know, like Potter and Twitch and like Wes Agee. But then you had Hanson who stepped in, like just started making everything just look greasy, so sick. Like he would just, you know, he just took it up a notch. And then and now I think he took it to a place like up here, And then like everybody else started doing it, and then he's kind of like, nah, like that's
I'm out.
old.
Yeah.
That's old. Like I'm on to something new. Now he just goes fast as hell and just hits every jump like this. And just like he does this new thing where he just flies through the air, like
Just peacocking,
like
bro.
endoing, and then just like.
I seen a bit of that over the triple from you today. Not as heavy as
no, not like him. He takes it to a whole nother level. Yeah, but no, it's cool. I mean, it was just such a fun time, and you know, like I think at first it was cool because you know, Axel and me would go out, and I kind of would do. I could get out of work to go ride with Axel.
Yeah,
you know, like I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go
deal.
push Axel. Like I'm gonna go like, you know, and so I would just push Axel out of his comfort zone, and then now his comfort zone is crazy high. Like he's good.
So could you see him like the time that you spent hanging out with him? Could you see like a real heavy progression with him?
Oh yeah,
like he really stepped it up. Like it was noticeable.
I think he just like he had like the best people around him. I mean, he had like McGrath, you know, like Jeremy McGrath is, you know, was like his next, like his neighbor. Like that's who he rode with when he was like 6 years old because his dad and him are buddies, and he's a family friend. And then like, so you got like a guy like that, like, you know, giving you your fundamentals, you know, and just as for fun. And he always just grew up riding. He never really raced. And then he came out, I think he won like in Mammoth on his Super Mini, like his very first like real race. I think he won like a qualifier or something, like at Mammoth. Like kid's really talented. But yeah, like I would, when his last couple of years amateur and like started going out and riding, and then he started like, you know, just cranking real big whips and getting him to hit some technical stuff. Because at first we were kind of like trying to get him into Supercross, like go, you know. So he would, you know, try to teach him how to skim whoops, and he didn't really like whoops, but he would hit any rhythm section. Like he's got the jumps for sure.
Yeah. It's I just find it so interesting the way that whole deal is sort of between like the free ride dudes, you know, because like I always thought that, and you mentioned JDR before, like the Dream Ride videos before. Yeah. That's sort of one of the things we were trying to do. Like me and Jay that owned the team, we're mad surfers. And I was like, dude, like you've got Rip Curl the Search, you've got all of these like film trips where these guys go away. I was like, there's no travel element in moto. There's no like dudes that like, there's guys that quit doing the contest to go and just on these film trips and surf. And I was like, it just sort of doesn't exist in moto. And like Twitch would do it, but to the Glamis and Ocotillo and like those kind of free ride spots. But that was our goal. Was like, I want to go somewhere crazy so that it looks kind of like how surfing is in a way. But now it's happened with you guys, but in I guess a bit of a different way.
Well, your video is insane. Like that was one you'd watch, and just like everything was so polished, and it looked like so foreign. Like I still like didn't even know until I talked to you tonight where it was filmed. It was just a secret location. You're like scratching, where is that? Like, which that's, to me, that's what's intriguing for a video. You need that spark, that something new. And yeah, I mean, I wish there was more riding trips. I wish more guys just got along and like worked together and did more cool stuff. You know, it's just sometimes it's hard to drop egos and drop this and worried about who's going to look the best, you know, or which is going to, you know, what place is going to suit this guy the best. Yeah. You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, well, definitely. I wish we all got together and did more stuff. Like when we were doing the Dooney stuff, like that was really fun, and we would really just push the envelope of what was going down in the dunes. I mean, I hadn't even really seen a dude whip it in the dunes before he started going out there. And then Bierman just one time just threw the most insane whip. I mean, just like turn ups. Like that was like the first time you seen like a 200-foot turn up like that. Yeah, true, bro. They're like, we were tripping, and he was like, you know, like an inch off the top of this dune that it was like almost like a triple, and he had to barely get over the top of this. Wow, really? I mean, it was nuts. Like if he would have just been off a touch, he would have just cartwheeled like. That's a huge crash. The biggest ragdoll ever, and he pulled it. It was just, and then it just kept every time you show up like, oh, it's gonna be gnarly. Dude, I got one of them Facebook memories like 2 weeks ago of me, Berriman, and Ryan Walters at Bremen, Georgia. 9 years ago, we did a trip for Verb called Eastbound and Down, and we like drove across from California to Atlanta in the van. That was 9 years ago, dude. That's how long Berriman's been on that fucking grind to get to where he is now. Like, and you see so many people, they'll come across him recently as he starts blowing up, and then everyone's like,
look at what these fucking guys get, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you don't know that this dude's been at this shit for like literally 9 years. He stopped racing basically to like kind of, he believed that this day would come, and it's fucking cool to see that it's actually here.
He did it from the dirt. He did it on his own. Like he tried to race. He paid his dues though and went and did a Supercross season, you know?
Yep.
Like, Behrman's tried it, and he's just always pushed. He's just always been that guy that everybody likes too. Like everybody gets along with him. He's just a nice dude. Sends it on a bike, and you know, who doesn't want to film with him? Like, he's just, but he might have had a little help from dudes like, you know, like Twitch, just because Twitch believed in him,
because they like kind of co-signed him in a way, you know.
Yeah, but you had to, because he was like this cool racer kid that just like would go send it. I mean, what are you gonna do, not put him in the video?
Yeah.
Like,
true,
but you know, like he really brought it up, you know, on his own, like completely organically, and it's sick to see him. And the thing about him too that over the last couple of years I've realized is like, when it's a competition, like that dude steps up too.
Yeah, like that whip he threw at X Games this year.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, even at
committed.
Monster Cup a little bit ago, like, I mean, I couldn't really see it. I seen it from a distance, but some of the stuff I was seeing, couldn't believe how, you know, he throws some big whips. And he always lays it down when it's time. Like, also too, like with the quarter pipe thing, like I think he got a quarter pipe to practice on this year, but before that, like I think like Axel and Raha were the only guys that had a quarter pipe to practice on, and Behrman would just show up and just be like, "All right," just like,
I guess we'll do
like
it.
he invented that style of hitting it straight up and down like that morning, like. He's just like, okay, yep, today's the contest. I'm just gonna hit it straight, wide open, see what happens. Like, I was impressed by that, because I was sitting there, I didn't practice, and I was going about 20 feet, and I'm all, yeah, no, I'm cool. I don't want to go any higher.
Dude, that, you know, I said to when we did the Corey Creed podcast, that's what one of the things I said. I was like, you know how I know that this shit is like gnarly as fuck? Is that Josh Hill doesn't really go that high. That's how you know it's gnarly, because you are fucking gnarly, dude.
It's almost like demoralizing though. It's like now, especially because now, like, you know, Creed practices on it, and like Behrman's practicing, and Axel and Raha, and like I only get the call because if somebody backs out, like, and then I go and I don't have a ramp to practice on, and I just show up and I go there. And at first, like every year I've done it, I've never practiced. I just show up, like, because somebody's hurt and nobody wants to hit the ramp. Because it's that gnarly, like nobody wants to hit the ramp. So I get in by default, and then like the first year I almost got third, and I was actually still the monster TM, and I had like I was up all night the night before, and you know, because we had our party the night before, so I mean, like, it was my job. And then like, okay, go suit up and go do this, and I almost got third. I was like 6 inches off. And because I think at that point nobody was going that high, like Raha was like, okay, Raha's probably gonna win, you know. And then it was up for grabs. But now it's like, okay, I could go hit this thing like way higher than I'm ever comfortable with, and I'm probably gonna get like a clean fifth. Yeah. Like, it just is demoralizing.
Gonna risk my life for a fucking 6 or a 5th.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. If I wish I had one in my backyard and I could practice it and get the feeling down, because I want to do it like Behrman. When Behrman hits that thing, he makes it look like everybody else to me makes it look like the most frightening thing on earth. Yeah. But Behrman somehow makes it look like mellow. Creed hits it good too now. Like, Creed hits it solid. And but like even Raha, like he hits it and like I'm just like, oh, like I tense my bars like when I'm watching. But somehow Behrman, he hasn't won it, but he makes it look the most fun.
He's just I think that's why he's so followed, is because it's like, if you want to look at a dude, and I think you're the same, Hanny's the same, it's like if you want to look at a dude that makes you want to ride even though you suck at riding, like, you guys can get that person fired up. Like, I'm like, I got no style. But it's like, I look at you guys, I'm like, fuck, yeah, like that. It actually makes you want to go. And I think that's why you guys have all got, like, the crazy following.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know what makes Instagram tick. Like, there's something. I've thought about it. There's some people put a lot of time into figuring out what makes Instagram tick, and then I think by the time you figured it out, it's on to something new. Like, then you're just following a trend. I don't know. Sometimes you just get lucky. Like I think my biggest video is me just riding electric bikes with my buddy Scott Craney, where we just sent some big jump. It was just a road in LA, and we just launched it probably like 150 feet. And I mean, it was just like it was nothing. It was the easiest you know, it was super easy, like not really dangerous other than maybe a car could come and kill us, but we had a buddy scouting, and that thing got like just millions of views.
Dude, think how different like that is. So that scenario, you've got like buddies on the road scouting, and then you're like fucking lining up a ramp in a road in downtown LA. Compare that to like your first day testing with Yamaha at the super, like, but essentially it's the same shit. Like, you just, that's your thing that you're doing on a dirt bike, but it's like, what a fucking difference 10 years can make.
It's wild. I mean, we were kind of doing the same stuff when we were
That's what I mean,
but we'd be doing it on pit bikes, you know, like we'd be just like going and, you know, finding an empty lot somewhere and building a sick pit bike track until we got kicked out of there or something. Like, it was just, it was just fun. Dude,
but what a difference though. Like, literally, if someone said, dude, in fucking, let's say it's 10 years, they're like, hey man, in 10 years, your day of testing will be like, dude, stopping cars so that you can send a gap in LA for Instagram. You would be like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah. I'd be pumped for it though. I'd be in. I'm like, there ain't nothing more fun than like a good day. Like the funnest days, like probably the funnest day I've ever been like around dirt bikes was like my buddy Craney. Like, I don't know if anybody, some people out there probably follow him. He so his dad actually was the M in L&M racing. So he's Scott Craney, he's his son, but he was kind of like he wasn't really around much. Like, he wasn't like really, he rode and stuff, but he's just like this insanely talented guy. Like, he's on Sports Center because he's like, he made the top 10 in Sports Center because he was surfing his dirt bike and caught a catch with a football behind his back, like while surfing a dirt bike, and then like slam dunks it, and then like he just does the most off the wall stuff, and he's my favorite person to be around. And he's like my biggest inspiration in all that kind of stuff, and my favorite person to be around. Like, when I snapped my wrist getting ready for Monster Cup, I was bored, and I'm like, all right, dude, you're taking my Alta, we're gonna go just film you, like whatever you want to do. Me and the boys are coming up to film and edit with you. And it was the funnest thing ever. Like, the guy, you get more hyped, like he's jumping freeways and stuff, like in the middle of the day in traffic, like with us just like stopping, and it's three buddies with cameras, just like super janky. Like, he ripped into a go-kart track that it was like a, I don't know what they call them, I don't know if they have them over here, but it's like a putt golf, and like
mini golf
go-kart track / little water park, like kiddie zone area. And he just rolls in like through the main gate, rides in, rolls up to the go-kart track, rips a start, does 2 laps, and peels out in the middle of the day while in business hours. Like, just the stuff that he's thinking of, like when you give him like that electric bike, like I've never had so much fun. He did this jump at a school during school hours. Like, it was just a set of stairs that go up and a tabletop and a set of stairs that come down. And he's just like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, it's school hours. Like, well, nobody's outside. It just hits it, and then like kids are just coming out like, whoa. And the cops, like, he just I'm like, go. The cops see, like, we kind of pull out of the deal, and the cop follows me for a couple of miles and pulls me over, and he's all you know, what's going on with we have it on film somewhere too, but we never released it. But what's going on with the dirt bike? I just watched him. What do you mean? That was sick. Like, why do you got tied out? We ride too.
Dude, that's one of those like
it's like you could write a movie on it. Like, the amount of fun that we had in 2 days just playing around with these harmless toys, you know, if you know what you're doing. It is so much fun.
You haven't done anything with that footage?
No, it's online somewhere. I think Buttery posted it.
Oh, sick.
But like, it's kind of a dumbed down version. Like, he wanted to finish. Like, he's got the most insane ideas. Scott Craney, if you guys look him up on Instagram, maybe we'll get him to post again. He hasn't posted in like a year, but he's the most insanely talented guy in everything. He can juggle. He can like just like the stuff he thinks of is just a whole nother human being.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Do you think that some of the reason why you guys are so good with that shit is that you kind of grew up in like the heyday of the Verb era, or like Moto Playground? Like, shit was fucking cool for amateurs, and there was so much like filming and content going down. Like, it's sort of not like that now. Like, what the fuck edit have you seen of Chase Sexton? Or, you know, like, it's not the same as it was when you guys were coming up.
Well, now everybody just does it themselves. You know, like, so
true.
now it's like the kids that like might not be the best kid at riding, but he's got the best boys around him to like catch, like film him riding.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's just like no central place for it now. It's like you've got to like find the shit to follow.
Yeah, you got to like follow the kids and follow like what's happening, you know, like Verb and stuff. It was cool. Like, but I grew up in Oregon. I was like out of the, I was such a, like I wish that if I had Instagram around when I was a kid, like my dad would have definitely made me famous. Like if we would have filmed the stuff that my dad had me doing, like it was, I hit some of the biggest jumps ever on 80s. Like,
dude, that's actually like literally as you were saying that, I'm thinking, fuck, Mini Warriors. Like, dude, you were sending shit. Was that on a KX80?
I was
right?
11. Like,
fuck,
11
bro.
years old then. Like, and my dad's like, my dad built this just big jump at our buddy's property. It was like 100-foot just straight gap. He had to come off this downhill, jump a berm, and hit it. And it was like, but I think he built it like 85 feet first, and it was still big. It was like, you know, taller than a Supercross triple face, and, you know, just big, massive gap. And then like I hit it and I overshot. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. All right, I'm gonna make it bigger. You know, like, so he pushed it out, and then we just kept pushing it out until my bike was just maxed. You know, like, and then
heavy.
I jumped it, and the guys are like, they're all, hey, there's that old bus, like he could clear that thing. And my dad's like, you gonna put him on the cover? And you know, if he jumps the bus, put him on the cover. He's like, all right. Just goes
your dad was straight hustling.
Grabs my dad was a pro BMX rider in the like my dad apparently invented the turn down on BMX.
No shit.
That's the
story.
A lot of people back it up that I've talked to in the industry and BMX back it up. So like he's legit. Like he can still go hit a quarter pipe and go like 6-7 feet out on this like his 8 foot, like his old like ramp quarter pipes that like his trailer ones that are 8 feet wide and 8 feet tall. Like he can still just air them and do one-handed no footers and inverts and all. He's nuts.
How much did that shit influence you growing up then? Like, was he like a legit superhero to you growing up?
Yeah. Like when I look at Brian Deegan, like, and the way he is with Danger Boy, like that's, I mean, really, like it was like that with my dad, except for like just my dad wasn't like established like that. But that was my dad to me, because my dad, like we would have like there's this dude Mike Storm. He was like the SMP. He was like the local freestyle guy back in the day. He was the SMP rider. Like he would come out in his baggies, and my dad would just build jumps that like him and his buddies would just go big on, because he comes from a freestyle BMX background and, you know, race local pro stuff, and, you know, he would just go, you know, build sick jumps in the backyard. Like we were lucky enough to have like 5 acres, and he would just, you know, go build jumps and make gnarly stuff. And then as I got older, it was like, oh, cool, maybe we'll tabletop that landing and he can start to do it. So that, and then, you know, but it was more just for fun. Like I would just sit and circle a jump and try to do tricks all day at first. And then when I was like when I was 7 years old, I tried this big jump and snapped my femur.
What?
Yeah, and then like didn't ride. And then the first time it came back, I went out.
How was your mom through all this shit?
Oh, I was ready to quit too, but then I just loved it too much. And then so my first ride back after snapping a femur when I was 7, I was 8, and I went to the dunes, or maybe not first ride, but like first month, and I crashed in the dunes and ruptured my spleen. And we were like, that was gonna be it for motocross. And then this happened probably in like December or something, and then or maybe even late January. And World Minis was in like May or April, and I was at the top of my age group, and my dad he was like, hey, you want to go to World Mini? I'm like, yeah. And like, yeah, sure. And like the new KTM 60s just dropped, and my dad had a link on how he could get 2 of them.
Really?
And we picked up 2, rode for like 3 weeks after being a whole year just like out with the heaviest injuries, and then I went to World Mini and I won every single moto.
Wow.
And then went to Ponca and the same thing, like won like every, you know, and then started getting sponsors, and then it's like, well, that's what we're doing now.
I guess you're a moto kid now.
Yeah.
Do you have like really good memories of racing amateur and doing that whole deal, or did it get kind of tough towards the end as you got into like the factory stuff?
For me, like I have good memories. It was good. It's my parents were like they really tried to raise me right. Like they did everything they could to like really keep a short leash on me and not let me be just a punk ass kid. That was their goal, I think. You know, my mom homeschooled me. Like they were real strict. I mean, I had like it was too much. It was real strict. Like
I was
too
gonna say,
strict
did that
on me.
backfire when you went to California?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but I still had like the same values and stuff that they gave me. I just hung out with people that had real bad reputations that kind of reflected poorly on me. Not to say I'm like innocent and didn't do anything bad or wasn't a little bit rough like in times of my life, because I for sure was.
A lot of dudes were.
But I think I caught way worse with rap than I really was. You know, like I was getting called a stoner before I ever smoked weed, like by like Steve Mathis, and like like, you know, like they were calling me and Lawrence like Cheech and Chong and just like talking shit on me. And I was like, I'm like, I didn't even drink, I didn't smoke, like I was just like, I might have had a little bit long hair, but not like it just. And I'm from Oregon. Maybe I just had that vibe. I'm a stoner kid, and then the people I was around, maybe, you know, a couple of them might have smoked weed, but you know, it's just I caught that rap real early. And then, I don't know. Did that shit piss you off? Because if you weren't like, dude, even I thought that, like, and I'd never seen shit firsthand with you like doing anything, but like I would have been like, yeah, no, fuck, makes sense. Well, I'm not saying I never smoked weed, but
no, but like back then,
when I was a racer kid and I'm factory and I'm doing all this stuff, like I was getting put on drug test programs and stuff, like before I'd ever even tried anything. That's crazy. So it was just like, it's just kind of wild, and it was just kind of, it's all like in racing and all that. It's all like what people perceive of you. Yeah. You know, like that. You know, if you have a bad year and it's because you're hurt or it's because this but. You know, and people perceive it out to be something else. Like your values just, it's just how racing is. So, I mean, it pissed me off, but then it also motivated me, because then I'd come out swinging. You know, like I'd come out and prove everybody wrong, and then there's not a better feeling in the world than shutting people up that just are talking and talk. You know? Yeah.
What was it? Do you think that media started changing when you turned pro? Like, because that was sort of like we said before, I fucked that up. But before, like, your year coming out of amateurs was like one of the highest paid. You had, like, you said 9 factory dudes come out of that year. It seemed like the whole, like, media machine and attention on kids, because it's like the media didn't really have like attention on kids at that point, but it's like it wasn't until you guys started getting those crazy deals that it was like you literally had like grown men like Mathers talking shit about a fucking kid. Like, it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like you're fucking 17, a cunt's like 30. It's like, I get that you're a journalist, but like you're talking about a kid you don't fucking know.
Well, and it was money. It was just the beginning of like, you know, the beginning of the internet. You know, like there was message boards, and then there was like MySpace,
Vital and shit,
and then like, but then you had like a guy like me. Like, I wasn't gonna go and say nothing on MySpace, or I'm not gonna do. But somebody else might like post a picture that makes you look bad, and then I'm new to the internet. I don't even know it's out there. You know, and then somebody else might see it, or like, message boards. Like somebody could just, you know, go off and saying that you're doing something. You got no voice to defend yourself. It's not like now where you got Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff. You can just like address something like, hey, look, here are the facts. Like, I'm not really doing this. Like, you just had these people just making allegations about you, and then they had a free platform to do it, where back in the day, like, there'd have to be like an editor of a magazine. They'd be like, you know what, we're not going to go for the jugular on this dude, or maybe they would. Yeah. Like, who knows? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's people that got wrongly accused of stuff in print too, but like, I'm just saying, I think you had like some time to let dust settle, look at it, gather your facts, and see if it's worth it. Where now it's just a press of a button. Yeah. You know? And
the crazy thing too, like for Mathers, like, he's the only dude that's sort of tried to play the heel as like a reporter in motocross. Like, he seems like he's the only dude that's willing to like go after guys. And like Brotocross did it, but it was like funny, it was satire. But like Steve's literally built a career on like kind of being that dude that will like challenge riders and like call dudes out. And it's like, it's fucking effective. Like, he's a big journalist now, but it's like, I don't know that I'd want to play that game, you know, because that's a brand. Like, that's his brand.
No, I mean, dude, you can't hate on the guy. Like, he took it way further than I've ever thought that, like, you know, but I didn't, you know, he's got an audience, and they're real loyal, and they're people just starving for motocross information, and that's probably the best place they're going to get it. And I mean, most of the time he's super insightful. Like, you know, he has, like, you know, he if you want to find out, maybe just get a sliver of something that's going on. If you listen to a Mathis thing, like, you kind of will get some,
you'll get some
dust of what's really happening.
Yeah.
And that's what people are going for it. And I mean, I just think maybe we got it, like, as riders, like, why is there no moto journalists right now just taking advantage of this? Like, I swear when I'm done, like, I'm going to go just full, like, Stephen A. Smith and just, like, get a buddy in the room and just yell and just, like, argue, like, not even care, like, what the outcome of the argument is, but just, like, okay, you take this point, I take that point, let's just yell at each other and talk about this. Like, that's all they do on sports TV.
I was going to say, that's straight Sports Center, bro.
No! I'm telling you, rocks. You just like, you gotta just for no reason, just yell, just get everybody fired up, drop some information, call it a day. And then like where I think like maybe people try to take like what, like Mathis kind of like codes everything, so then you can kind of look into it. Which, hey, he's doing a great job he's doing an awesome job for him. And like literally, I probably would like the guy if he didn't like bash when I was a kid, like call me a stoner before I was a stoner, or before I ever like.
Wait, did you ever have that guilt? Because I think of this with chicks sometimes, like. You get like that one chick that you'll be with her, and then she'll be like giving you so much heat, like you're banging all these bitches, and you're like, I'm getting all this heat, like I'm banging all these bitches. I ain't banging any of these bitches, so I'm gonna go bang some bitches. Hey. It's like the same thing. You were like, fuck that, I'm gonna go be a stoner. You want me to be a stoner? I'll be a stoner.
Look, I got hurt, and I went and got my medical card. I watched way too many buddies get on the opiates and have a real hard time getting off. I mean, I had a hard time. I had to lock myself in a hotel room for a week and just sweat it out and miserable. And that's life. That's what you got to do. And those, painkillers are awesome when you need them, but then there becomes a time when they're just a crutch and you don't need them. And weed for me was a huge help to get off of that stuff. And I mean, the amount of nerve pain that I was going through for months at a time, like, just calmed me down and made me sane without giving me or felt like it was making me sane to calm those nerve pains, and I wasn't taking opiates. And then like once you're like, you don't need weed, you just stop. It's not like there's no real chemical dependency on it. You might form a lot of bad habits, but it's way. I mean, you just stop. For me, I can just whenever.
Yeah, dude. I definitely don't have to name names, but like I think that whole opiates thing is like, that's such a, like, no one's really ever talked about that shit. Like, I know a few of you guys went through like super heavy shit, and like, dude, like literally lives got ruined in the motocross community, that it seems like no one really ever wanted to go there again. Like, I always sort of half even thought it was weird that there wasn't like reach out for support to those guys. Like, seemed like the industry sort of blackballed some dudes straight up, and it was like, fuck, man, these are kids that have been like in this sport forever, and it's like as soon as there was some of that sort of stuff going on, it's like, that's it, we don't talk about them, we just they're done. Like, there wasn't really much help, it seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's rough, man. I mean, you kids, you're young, you get hurt, like, you probably get your first taste of a painkiller if you're a motocross kid at like probably under the age of 10, or at least under the age of 14. Like, you're gonna break a bone at some point before that, and then you're gonna get on something, or you're gonna be in the hospital where you're getting it, and then kids grow a tolerance for it. And then back in when I was young, I just think it was way more accessible, and nobody really thought of it as something bad. And if you stubbed your toe, but say you just sprained your ankle, like, doctors wouldn't really think twice to just hook you up with a little prescription of something, and you wouldn't even think of it as being bad. Yeah. So you just take them, make you feel better. The next thing you know, like, people just like them too much. Yeah. And it's just extremely sad, and I hope, it's not like, oh, like, I don't think, smoking weed, that's the answer to it. But that, for me, when I had this gnarly, crazy nerve pain, that was the only thing that kept me, like, sane. I feel like was just, it helped me. So everybody's different. I don't know, it is what it like, but I don't know, at the same time, like, what do you do when like dudes are breaking bones all the time? You're just not gonna give them stuff. Like, I got buddies that like damn near break their neck, like, and the doctors won't give them, like, they won't like help them with anything. So it's a double-edged sword, because they got some people that are dying and in need of pain medicine, which I still to this day think that you need it. At times, that's what it's there for. But it just, some people latch onto it and abuse it, and yeah, it is really sad that we kind of dump these kids out, but then it's some time too, you know, you got to want to get off of it yourself, and I think that's the hardest thing, you know, for people that are locked into it. You gotta want it for yourself.
Knowing some of the dudes that went through that stuff, because you had, like, some of those boys were like your friends too, right? Like, what was that shit like, even seeing that stuff go down?
Well, it's just you just see them, like, you just kind of see traits, and then unfortunately, you know, some people would end up, you know, stealing stuff, and some people would end up, you know, just be able to, like, maintain their habit, but just not really, you know, it's just sad, man. It's everywhere, and it's not just racers. It's everything, and it's just a really, really sad thing. And hope everybody, you know, hopefully everybody can figure it out soon, and maybe, you know, hopefully there's something new that helps with pain that doesn't have addictions. But I'm sure it's a double-edged sword. If you're given something that helps you, you're gonna probably end up abusing it at some point.
Dude, I remember, like, because I mean, I broke tons of shit as a kid, and we'd have, like, Panadol Fort you could get here, and then endones, which are like, they're like a opiate, but just nowhere near as strong, man. Like, I'd have endones when I'd break shit, and then I remember having an oxy in America one time, and I was like, dude, this shit is a fucking different deal. Like, that felt like a hospital drug, like, not like a at home broken on the couch drug. And, like, people were just going through them, and I'm just like, this is a fucking heavy deal that, like, they can just give you that shit.
Yeah, and that seemed to be the thing that took everybody down, or, you know, just took a lot of people down. It seemed like, you know, from people that were just, you know, friends that didn't ride, people that did ride, it just was a struggle, you know, and that's a hard thing to break. And I just hope that younger kids learn from it. But then at the same time, like, you know, it's cruel for the way doctors are treating people right now that have injuries, because they're not giving them shit now. Yeah. Like, oh, hey, yeah, you know, your leg's hanging over there. Here's you know, here's a couple Advil. Here's 5 Vicodin. Come back, like, you know, like, somebody could just, like, I literally, like, compound fractured my wrist, and, like, they gave me, like, a 3-day supply of like, and then, like, you have to come back, and I'm like, you realize, like, you know, I know this deal. I know, like, yeah, I've been here before, and I know, like, I'm really gonna be hurting in 3 days. You know, I'm not taking these to abuse these. I'm taking these because my hands was over here and sticking out of the skin.
Like, come on, bro.
Like, come on, like, but it's.
I don't have a migraine or glaucoma.
I don't know the perfect solution. I guess, yeah. I guess it's good that they do that, and you have to monitor and make it a real pain in the ass to get relief. But then, yeah. What do you do? It's rough. I don't want to keep talking about it. I hate going down this road. Everybody's, you know, it's probably affected a lot of people in different ways, and I got no answer. I just hope everybody feels better. Yeah.
With the that season that you were leading the championship, like, what was it? I remember watching that season. I was like, I would fucking love to know exactly how this motherfucker feels going through this right now, because, like, you were like, it was like the top, and then it felt like you were at the bottom and everyone wrote you off, and then it's like you had this insane season, and then to the female, like, what a fucking ride that season must have been. It was, especially the people you were beating, dude. Just the whole thing was up and down. Like, I signed with Factory Yamaha. My second race, I almost won a moto. I got second, and then, like, so everything's good. Like, he's gonna be good. And then I went 250 West Coast. I got third behind Villapoto won, Lawrence got second, I got third my rookie year. And I got a bunch of thirds. I almost won the East-West shootout, but I got a hole in I tried to stuff Dungey, and his foot peg put a hole in my cases. So I DNF. But and then I was kind of getting, like, shitted on for getting third in the championship as a rookie. Like, I was like, well, I thought I did okay. And, like, I know I wasn't on it. My bike, Yamaha didn't have a 250F program at that point, and at Factory Yamaha, and my bike was, I love the guys at Yamaha, but my bike was terrible. It was the slowest bike, and then outdoors I think it blew up like 8 or 9 motos, and wow, dude, I'm telling you, it was just like, I mean, like, I got a good start at Redbud, and it went like left, right, left, and this big step down the hill, and I made it to that step down, and my bike locked up on the face, and I don't know how I saved it, but I did. It was just like that scenario over and over again. So then Stewart gets hurt. Langston's gonna win the championship, or he's like trailing Andrew Short or something,
And I just happened to be in Texas. My bike blows up again, and I'm out at Matt Bichelia's house when he's a little kid. I'm staying with his parents, and my bike blows up, and I'm like, screw this. I hate, like, I'm just so mad. I go to the bike shop and I go buy a Yamaha 450, like just straight up cash. I just go in that day, just buy. I'm like, I'm riding. Like, I love riding. I'm not just going to sit around. And then I go to the practice track, and I'm just practicing on this now. And I go and I'm running like the same times as like GL and those guys. I'm going to go, hey, you guys should let me ride a 450. I think I'm going to leave like I'm telling them, like, I'm going to probably like get out of my contract. If you don't let me ride a 450, I'm out. Like, this thing's terrible. And it, like, kind of threatened him that. And I'm making stupid money. I'm the dumbest kid. Like, I don't know how I was so cocky to like think that I could pull that off. I should have never, like, no kid in my position at 17 should be telling Yamaha, like, yeah, I'm going to cut you guys off on this fight, however much.
Fuck your millions. Yeah. I'm out, bitch.
But I really was that frustrated. And then they let me do it. And then I went out, and I think I was in third the first moto, and I got a rock, hit my goggle lens, popped it out, and I DNF'd. Like, oh, you're out of shape. I'm like, all right. Dude.
Cool, dude.
Thanks. So next moto, I get in like a first turn tangle up and come from like way back and come through the pack and pass Andrew Short on the last lap and get like Grant Langston a couple points. And then I do the same thing the next weekend.
No.
Yeah. And then so I kind of proved my worth. I goes, yeah, and then I just stuck to my guns. I'm like, I'm not riding 250F. Not doing it.
Dude, that's so heavy because like you think like not just the team but Japan, like how much they would have invested in that bike. You were just like, fuck this, bro.
I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. But yeah. So I was riding my bike during the week that I bought. And then I gave him my suspension. I'm like, yeah, just make it like this is what I said. It was like in between Supercross and motocross. And I would just go to the test track and just ride every day on my own bike. And then like I started going, they got Chad, and they got Langston, they got all these guys, and I'm going, and I'm like, kind of like
I can
on
do
pace,
this, yeah.
Like, and I'm 18, just turned 18, and then I went into the Supercross series and almost won my first heat race. Chad got me like the last corner, and then I got second behind Chad, A2. And then won a race. I think I'm the youngest guy to win a race.
Really?
For sure on a 450. Like
that's 100%. Sick.
On a 450. Ron Lachine did it when he was like 16 or something, and when it was 250s.
250s.
Which, I mean, if we're being real, he's the youngest guy. But
450, that claim.
450, yeah.
We'll give it to you.
But Ron Lachine's the man. But, anyways, yeah. So, and then won a race, got like tons of heat races, always like setting fastest times, and then it was like I kind of set myself as like the guy.
Yeah.
And then Lawrence got in all his trouble, and I got in a bunch of trouble. Like I got in trouble with him, like just the dumbest things, like not even doing anything bad, but just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Dude, J-Lo though, like I never had too much to do with him, but he lived close to me at some point over there. And there was like one day where he like literally tried to fight me in an Albertsons car park, like literally just random, like he had no idea I worked in moto, and I'm like walking out, and then he's just like mean mugging me the whole time, and I'm like, and I was, dude, I had Christophe Porcel try and fight me at Parla one year in 2010 because apparently I'd like banged some chick he was with, and then so I was like, fuck man, I kind of always wished I had like the I bash Porcel story, but I never got it. And then so J-Law's like walking towards me, and I'm just walking out, and I didn't even know it was him, and I just saw this dude like just fucking staring me down, and I was like, dude, this guy's like kind of fucking creeping me out. And then I see it's J-Law, and I'm like, all right, cool. I feel like I'd be down to throw down with J-Law for the story. And then he just like walked straight past me. I was like, that was a fucking weird interaction, bro. Like, you're a famous dude.
Is it the Albertsons you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had quite a few no, it probably been the Scott Road, I bet. If you seen him at Albertsons.
Dude, maybe it was.
Yeah, because that was, like, I think he had a few, I bet you the security cameras in that shopping center probably caught a few J-Lo altercations.
I just thought
it was right by his, I don't know, he was the funnest person to be around. Loved riding, loved everything I liked. But then occasionally, like, yeah, somebody'd have a story like that. I mean, we've fought each other a couple of times, but we were cool after. But like, he every once in a while he'd turn the switch and he'd be mad. I don't know, but he was so funny, man. Like, I just loved being around him. I don't know, it was so different from what I grew up doing. Like I had freedom. This dude was just killing it on a dirt bike. Would just do the wildest stuff, like get away with it. Like we're Yamaha guys, signed for like multiple years. Like, this is my boy. Like, he's so.
Did we just become best friends?
Oh man, and like yeah, but yeah, he would get in some altercations for sure. Where were we going with this?
Oh fuck, I can't even remember.
We got off on a J-Law stuff. As soon as you mention his name, you're gonna go off on a tangent. Like the guy's just that legendary.
Fuck, he really is like a legend of the game, dude.
Yeah,
so he got hurt.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt.
You guys got in trouble. That's where
he did the rental car thing. Everybody thought I was in it.
So what was the deal there?
I wasn't even there. I pulled up after it was done. I pulled like I could show like airplane ticket records. Like I wasn't in the car. I could name who was, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But
fuck that Takashi shit.
No. You know, I mean, like I wasn't in the car, and then the next night, like a Texas Ranger was driving around with this guy was driving. Okay, so we were at pit bike race. It's 105 degrees at Freestone National, and me and J-Law and like some girls and just a bunch of we got probably a pretty rowdy group of people like laughing at the pit bike races, just having a good time. Like, and this guy pulls up in a golf cart and he's got a cooler on the back. Hey, you guys want some beers? Well, I didn't realize this, but his buddy in the passenger seat was like a Texas Ranger or one of the and so he's like, hey, you guys want some beers? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, like it's 105. There's no concession stands. I'm dying. I just want water. Like I think I asked him if he had a water, and he's like, no, just beer. I'm like, all right, yeah. Crack one beer, get halfway through it, and the guy's like, hey man, how old are you? I'm like, oh man, I'm 18. And in the States, you have to be 21.
Yeah.
And then, all right, come with me, hands behind my back in front of everybody. And J-Law was 21, did the same thing to him. And so it was just like that was like the beginning. That wasn't the beginning, but that was like the validation of all the crap that was getting talked about me already for hanging around people like you know the rap I was getting for being around dudes like J-Law.
Yeah. Dude, so then what happened like with that Yamaha thing then? So like what was the fallout of the whole rental car arrested thing?
Nothing with me. I got like a $25,000 fine for the MIP at a race, which that's fair.
Fuck, bro, 25 grand at 18 years old.
I didn't even trip.
That's what I'm saying, though. You were making so much
now I'd be
money.
like getting a lawyer or something. Like, $25,000 fine, and I got in a 13-week drug test program, and I was like, yeah, like some community service. That was it, you know, like
no shit.
Yeah, but which was a heavy fine for a
like thinking about
18-year-old now cracking a beer, watching his butt, whatever. But I get it. I shouldn't have done it. Yeah. I was 18. I was probably wearing my sponsor's stuff, hanging like, out at a dirt bike track. What
fucking 18-year-old would like not do that? You know what I mean?
A lot of 18-year-olds in my position would have been a lot smarter than me not to do that.
I guess now that, but you know what though? Like you were the example. Like you and J-Law, like the kids now, like you guys were sweet.
We just thought we were sweet or something. I don't know. And it was just at that point where J-Law won the championship, and it was like we were getting too sweet. So somebody was I don't know who was really behind any of it, or I mean maybe that might be just a stroke of luck. And then Jason gets in a fight at Redbud and goes to jail, and then they kicked him out of the AMA, and he already like had that deal happen with Villapoto where he launched his bike. This is all in like week after week after week after week. Like, so then like and then he was I had to go to jail for a little bit for another just little altercation. So it was just like it reflected, it put me in a bad spot. Then the following year I get hurt, like blow out my shoulder right before Supercross, and had just a kind of a crummy year, and just kept. Sometimes when it rains, it just pours, tore my labrum, had to get it repaired. The week I get back on the bike 2 weeks before Anaheim, chain snaps on a triple on step off, I get KO'd. Still race, come back, then I finally get on the podium again. I'm winning heat races, doing good, and then I'm out jogging and roll my ankle so bad I had scrapes on the top of my foot.
Wow.
I mean, just jogging on trails, just and when you have like I said, the perception that I had, like everybody's oh yeah, sure, and then like so I had this year and I got completely wrote off. I went from making like millions to I made zero money the next year. When I was leading the championship, or tied for the championship at Dungey, like I was making zero salary from Yamaha, and basically like I was making like no money up front, but I invested in all these like insurance policies and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Like, so then like when I was killing it, I was doing okay, but like I went from all this upfront money to no, like,
yeah, dude,
like barely enough to keep the lights on the pad I had.
No shit.
But it was all good.
Did you when you got like those first like the initial contracts, were you like trying to save money and shit, or like is it just not really on the radar at the time?
It was more to get my family out of debt. Like, yeah,
okay.
It's more like, you know, you kind of just, I don't think my family wasn't the best on, you know, it was a family effort, and they weren't the best on money management themselves. And then, so I was kind of pulling them out of debt. And then, but I mean, I actually was, to be honest, I was pretty good with what I had. Like I bought a big house. Like I probably should have bought a smaller house, but in hindsight, like if I didn't get hurt and just everything I would have stayed mediocre, when I sold that house, I would have, like, it'd be worth like millions now, you know. And I bought it repoed, so I didn't take a hit or nothing. But like, you know, I didn't make any like real bad decisions.
It was just kind of how, like,
I mean, how many years can you live the dream, you know, and keep it going? And I've lived the dream a lot of years and kept it going. I'm not like, I don't got tons of money in the bank, but I've been like able to keep myself real comfortable for a long time. But I always now, like, it just puts, if I would have saved money, I'd have zero stress, you know. I'd just be like, yeah, whatever, you know.
Because like realistically, you could have bought a house for like, you know, $400,000-$500,000, been a fucking gangster house, paid cash, and like that's just always there.
Yeah, but then I bought a really gangster house.
Yeah.
And then I would have had a really gangster payout. But just like the way the market crashed, all this kind of stuff happens, and you're an 18-year-old kid and you think you're the smartest dude in the world, and you're really just a dumbass 18-year-old kid that can ride a dirt bike.
When did you realize?
We made way worse decisions back then. Like, we were crazy, way dumber. Like, now you actually have to be like there's the opportunities out there aren't like they were. Like, you could just be a dumbass. Like, it was geared for dumbasses.
Dude, you know, great. Like the best thing about you is that you fully fucking get it. Like, dude, like when I had Seth Enslow on here, like, I fucking love that dude, but he just like kind of didn't put it together that like he fucked all that like money shit up, or like that side of it, you know. But I guess like maybe it was just like, that's the fucking time, right? Like, you guys just didn't know back then as much as now.
Well, and there's people taking advantage of you big time around every corner when you got that type of money. And there's people taking it. I mean, I go on for days about that. I don't want to, but yeah. I mean, there's people that you think have your back that don't too. And I'm sure, like, I mean, I don't like Seth. He's the man, dude, and he works his ass off, and I'm sure he wishes he could have saved some money. But how much money did he really make? You know, like,
yeah, true.
You got to think he was like the original like Tyler Bierman. You know, like, he just a gnarly ascender free rider. I mean, that's maybe not the best.
Well, he was the first dude to ever get paid to wear gear that didn't race.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it wasn't quite like what it is
now, or back in that.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. $1 million if you're living life can go quick. You know what I mean? If you're not investing it and you're just living life with it, that's gone.
But like, how much of that? Like, there's got to be a bit of you that looks back and is like, well, I'm kind of glad I had that much fun.
Oh yeah,
it's like you guys fucking live.
I didn't buy shit. Like, I didn't buy cars. Like, I still got the same truck. Like, I still have the same truck that I bought when I was 18. Like, my first truck I bought, I still drive it. Like, I love it.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've had a couple in between there, and I've had a couple, you know, nicer vehicles and things. You know what I mean? Like, but I'd never bought a bunch of cars. I just like, I bought a sick house because I wasn't 21 and I wanted to have my buddies over, and like, I mean, it sounds like you came over to one of my parties. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a bunch, but like, if I wanted to do something fun, like, I had a sick pit bike track in the backyard. I had like 4 identical TTR 110s, and we had a good time. Like, we were motoing in the backyard, hang out, barbecue. I had 6 sound systems, but like, I didn't wasn't buying Lamborghinis. I wasn't doing like the real dumb. I mean, I probably bought spent way too much money on taking my friends out to dinner and bar tabs, and I'll get this one. That's what gets you. Is that, oh no, I got it. No big deal. That's what adds up.
Them yard house visits, bro.
Yeah, those are what gets you.
Dude, fuck, was I? Oh, God, I just went blank on where I was going to go with that. Yeah, it was just a fucking, like, it was just a different time though, right? Like, nowadays, it's just, like, you know, you look at the guys that won the championships this year, it's like Chase Sexton as an American kid. Now it's like the Dungey model. Like, Dungey sort of, like, made this model for, like, doing it out of amateurs, right? He sort of gave every, like, kind of B-class kid hope. You know what I mean? It's like there was, like, Lawrence and you and Stroop and Izzy, and then in that same year there was, like, Dungey, and it's like everyone just kind of, like, went that Dungey direction after he did what he did, right?
How could you argue it? I mean, if I had a kid, I hope he'd go the Dungey direction. If I have a kid and he wants to ride dirt bikes, I'm gonna be like, see this guy right here, Ryan Dungey. This is how you got to do it. Look how nice he is. Everybody likes. Like, Dungey's the man. He's the best. He's like the best, like role model, representative of the sport. Like, you can't ask for a better guy. And I mean, I used to, you know, I was my rival. I used to be, you know, like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you would have never thought you'd say that at one point.
No, never. But I mean, what do you do? Like, I don't think Dungey was, when I was racing when we were young, I don't think he was near as good as me.
No, fuck no.
But he took that and just kept working, and he just, like, surpassed I mean, he's got, if you could trade careers with anybody, like, I'd trade careers with Dungey. Like, didn't really ever get hurt, was on the podium, like, every single weekend. Like, even if you're getting thirds, those checks still cash pretty good, dude.
And he got, like,
and he was
the
there
most
every
thirds
single weekend.
Well, dude, you go out to, like, the perfect thing with Dunge, like, you go out to we did a Glamis shoot with him, like a Fox shoot, and then there was Ken and Dunge. They were both on KTM, and, like, you look at Ken and you're like, that motherfucker is talented on a dirt bike. And you look at Dunge and it's like he's just taking his foot off everywhere and, like, dabbing and, like, squirreling jumps like 10 times before he can actually throw, like, a tiny whip compared to Ken. You're like, if you only could look at the super technical aspects of riding and you had, like, Ken or yourself or Berriman and then Dunge, you'd be like, yeah, these guys would fucking smoke that guy. But it's like, it's a different thing when it's like 20 laps or 30 minutes plus a lap, and it's like, you give that one dude that'll just work super hard at one thing, and it's like you get a fucking monster.
Well, I mean, I challenge anybody that thinks they're, like, for me, I think I'm a really good jumper, right? I think I can do stuff that nobody can do. Well, I mean, in my head, you know, like, I'm like, oh, I can do that. Like, this is gonna be sick.
You're the quad god.
But then, you know what? Either Dungey's going to just step up to the plate and do it, so you can't call him a not technical rider. He might not be the first rider, but he's still going to do the gnarly shit. And then, like, as the track got tougher, that never really made him, like, he was just more calculated. Like, I bet you if he took the risks of that James Stewart took, he would do some pretty wild things. Like, but then he probably goes to the dunes and just thinks, like, he just doesn't have the same type of love for just riding motorcycles,
or even seeing it as, like, a fun thing to do, because I feel like you see things that other people don't see. You're like, dude, that would be so fun. Whereas, like you said, the freeway thing, like the jumps along the freeway, whereas Dunge probably just doesn't even look at that shit, you know?
Maybe he does, and maybe he just goes risk towards reward.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't know what he thinks, but man, he, like, to say he's not a technical rider is
but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what
exactly
what you're saying, and I've probably been a guy right there with you saying it. But I've just, over the years, you kind of just got to really take a look at things. I mean, the guy, you know, he went through when the tracks were gnarly. He went through where tracks were kind of, you know, some tracks that weren't tough.
Yeah, true. Huh?
And he was there every weekend, so you can't say he wasn't technical. Like,
no, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You see, like, a guy like you or Hanny though, and it's like you could just look at something, you'll just do it. There's no, like, you're not just thinking about that shit as much as what, you know, those guys sort of are.
I guess we just lack the discipline.
Mate. But it's just different things though.
I like, for me, I think my biggest problem is maybe I just didn't, when I was a kid, like, I probably want to do better to race. Like, tomorrow we're racing Auckland Supercross, and I probably have a burning desire in my gut to do better, to do good tomorrow, like, worse than I had when I was racing these Supercrosses.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care. Like,
why do you think that was though?
Maybe because it was too easy.
Dude,
like,
me and Ricky had that fucking conversation today. Not about you, but just about talent in general.
It's just too easy. Like, maybe not too easy, but, or maybe what it is you're in the back of your head, like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that guy beat me the other day. Like, he got squirrely and held it wide open and he beat me. Like, dude's still a goon.
Yeah.
And, like, in the back of your head, like, I mean, you know how many times I've thought that Like I thought that would anytime Villapoto or somebody beat me, I'm like, well, whatever. He's gonna crash one of these days. Like, he'll be over it. And you know what? Guys like that just keep continuing to get better, and guys with that pussy mindset lack the discipline to try hard and lack what it takes. And I mean,
dude, I think with like guys like you, because I feel like I've said it on here a couple of times, like, but I think human potential is like a real motherfucker. Like, you would know that you're one of the most talented dudes ever to ride a dirt bike. Hanny's the same. Like, there's just those fucking dudes. Could do anything, any discipline, you've just got that talent. But like, that talent's a motherfucker to live up to. And it's like, sometimes I think it's easier to have that thing where it's like, yeah, that guy's, you know, you can sort of play it off because people know, like, dude, if Josh Hill really got serious, if Josh Hill really had discipline, like, no one could beat him. Like, that's a lot to live up to as a fucking kid.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know, like, what, maybe I guess it's the ego or something, the fear of putting in all this effort and then knowing you're not good enough. Yeah. On the side of, like, always thinking you got this upswing, maybe, like, subliminally. I don't know. I mean, it's I when I was a kid, people would be like, "Yo, you need to go talk to a sports psychologist." And I'm like, "Sports, like that's stupid, you know? Yeah. Like, I don't need somebody that doesn't know nothing about my sport trying to tell me what to think, you know." But now, as I look back, like, it might not be a bad thing to do if you're a kid, because there's people that may not know anything about your sport, but they're gonna know about what makes people great. And just because you are great at your sport doesn't make you, like, just because you're really, really good at your sport isn't going to, maybe you might not leave an imprint. Like, I mean, I bet you nobody really knows my name in 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, you're only as good as your last moto. Like, I might, like, the water park video guy. Yeah. When, like, I mean, that was gnarly, but it's nothing like some of the situations that, like, that legacy shit of, like, what Ricky did or what James did or Chad. Well, just in my mind, like, it was gnarly. And yeah, like, dropping on the water slide and looking down knowing I could die if I just barely went off was scary, but it ain't scary like being on the line with 20 riders and trying to, you know, go race wins and like the type of feeling that you have in your gut racing a Supercross. It's nothing like that. I mean, it's, you know, you get like, yeah, well, I hope that video looked cool. I hope they got the right angle. Like, you get this little celebration feeling, like when you pull something off. Even like when I did that nose wheelie front flip thing, like that was pretty heavy to me at that time. And it was like, that was done. Okay, cool. Yeah, like you get like maybe a night of like, yeah, that was sick. Yeah. And then you're just kind of like, whatever. What's next? But is it because, like, to win at the level of like a Supercross championship or even a main event, like if you win a fucking 450 Supercross main event, you have literally dedicated your life to the sport. Like, you've given a lot. So I think, like, that's probably because it's like, yeah, the water park video, it's dope. It would have been hard. It would have taken a while to do, but it's literally not like a life's work, like winning a main event or winning a championship, you know? Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm probably gonna be remembered for, is stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, he was that dude that, like, I'll probably be known as the electric bike guy. Like, I'm like gonna be like the Doug Henry of electric bikes. You know, like, you know, you think of Doug Henry on like four strokes. I'm like, I'm e-bike guy. And all the stuff that I did, like, I'm gonna be known for something that I did as a hobby when I was working a day job. Most likely. Yeah. Unless I start kicking some ass again. When do you feel like you, like, when you look, like, now you can laugh at yourself in retrospect but like, I was an idiot, I shouldn't have spoke to Monster like that. Like, when did you actually realize that? When was the first time you had that thought? What, that I shouldn't have talked to like Yamaha like that? Yeah, like that you were like that kid that, you know, like you look and you're like, fuck, I was a dumb kid. Like, when did you realize you're a dumb kid? Right now. When I'm talking to you, I was like, you know, just you don't really think about like how I told Yamaha, like, until I'm telling a story like this with you, I don't really think about how, like, I'm a 17-year-old kid making way too much money telling off a Japanese corporation with these people that have been doing it for years and had, you know, but luckily, I guess, you know, they seen enough in me that they were willing to risk it on me. Even so, like, you know, maybe they just didn't want to deal with the paperwork, I don't know, of firing me. I don't know. Like, I mean, Keith McCarty and Jim Perry are still cool as hell to me to this day, and I don't know why. Dude, they're still so nice to me and like help me out. And Mike Garrett and I kind of, when I started talking to him again, I kind of had my head held low, because that was when I guess I really, when you take everything and look back. But at the same time, I did work hard for him, and I did produce some for them, and I think I was respectful, in a lot of areas. I just made some bad, I just made some irrational decisions that I could have used some guidance on.
Yeah, dude, you're a fucking crazy likable person though. Like, I don't know many people that don't like you, and I think that was one of the things that, in that situation, say with like Yamaha or whatever, that would be one of the things that is like a saving grace. But I think a lot of times, that, I think that's what I was saying before, is like, maybe that was your, like, a bit of a defense mechanism, is like, you were fucking super nice, you were always like super respectful to people, and like everyone knew you had this potential. So it was just like, you can kind of, you insulate yourself, and those people, like the guys at Yamaha, like, dude, they would have fucking loved you, because you would have been a super cool motherfucker, even though you got in trouble. Like, everyone knows that kid where it's like, he's in trouble, but you're like, I still love that motherfucker though,
I mean, and again, like I said, the stuff that I got in trouble for wasn't like really bad stuff. I'm just more meaning like just the, like, they had to have been sitting there pulling their hair out knowing what I could have done. And I look back and do it now. But, at the same time, I pretty much ended my career at age 20. Yeah. And I got like, we got like, what, like 10 or, I don't know, like double digits of podiums in the 450 Supercross, I believe. Really something like that, something like that by the age of 20. So it's like, I didn't do that bad, but I could have done a lot more. What I mean? That's what always eats me up is, I think mainly just the injury. Like, that really, I mean, I was not even in the prime of my career yet. I was just like, I was still a little kid. I look at my little brother when he was 20.
Yeah, think like, that's when it hits you, huh?
Yeah, and I'm like, man, he's just a little kid. Like, I mean, he's a man. I mean, I'm not gonna try to, rough him up. Like, he's a man. But, his mind, he's still a kid. He has so much to learn. And I was, he probably knew more about the sport than I did at that age, because he got to watch me make mistakes and learn from my mistakes. So, yeah, man, it's just wild how quick things fly by, and you really only get one opportunity. And I'm so fortunate that I'm even sitting here in Australia or in New Zealand talking to you, racing dirt bikes at age 30 when my career should have been done 10 years ago.
Well, that's like the one thing that you can look at with it all to like not be bummed is like, Dungey ain't racing. Like, he achieved a lot, but it's like that his career's done. Like, there's really not going to be anything more sort of added to his story. Like, I think you do underestimate your impact a bit though, because it's like, you would be inspiring fucking thousands and thousands of kids every time you post a video doing something right. Like, so it's like, you can't discount what you're doing. It's like, it's different to what you came up doing, but it's like, there still will be like, and dude, to be the fucking e-bike guy, like, it sort of sits here and sounds a little bit retarded because everyone on the weekend's going to be riding 450s, but like, there's going to be a time where all of those bikes are e-bikes. So like, the fucking first e-bike guy is actually probably a pretty bad motherfucker.
Might not be that bad, actually. Like, they're sick. E-bikes are gonna, like, they're good, but yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love what I do. I get so hyped to ride dirt bikes, and I feel so fortunate to be able to do what I like. I scratch my head and think about how lucky I am. I'm lucky to have guys at Monster. Like, I was working a job, and they're like seeing me kind of working with Axel on projects and kind of going out and jumping the stuff first, getting out of the shot, doing stuff like that. And, seeing how much I loved riding, and they're like, hey, you want to go back riding? Like, I had no issues. Like, my job was great. I think I was doing a pretty good job, or at least they always told me I was. And they told me to come back afterwards if I'm overriding. But they gave me a deal, and like, I can't even like begin to tell you how much that means to me, because they gave me this deal too. Like, you like racing, so race a little bit, go to these big races. Like, I'm here because Monster's like the title sponsor. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to train and try to go whoop some ass here. So I'm here for a couple of weekends, then I'll go do snow bikes, and then I'll go, like, basically I just build up my schedule. Like, hey, what do you think of these events? Cool if I do this. Okay, we want to do a video here. Like, I am the luckiest dude, because that gives me a platform to post cool stuff. And I mean, that's the epitome of what you want to be. Like, if you're a free ride guy, you need that company that's going to support you back you, give you a platform, and give you some, make it to where you can do this for a living, and then everything else follows. So I'm like, I look at it and I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed. But when I look at my racing career, I think of like how much more could have been added. Like I left so much on the table. Like I don't think like nobody, I don't ever like say this, but it's like there's not a doubt in my mind that I was better than like Dungey and Villapoto in my own head, but I never got it. Like I'm the only one that knows that. Maybe a couple of people that watched me as a kid might think that. My dad might think that, but I never got a chance to prove that. So I just gotta, I still love riding dirt bikes so much, but that side of the racing bums me out because I never got to do that. So now I got to live through my little brother, or actually this weekend I got a chance to go give Jason Anderson an elbow and see what happens. So I'm like ready.
Dude,
like,
you're riding
I
fucking
think like
good too right now.
I'm like in this place. Maybe I was just complete sheer false confidence. But I think I can win. Like I straight up think like if everything cards fall right, like he gets a bad start, like I think I can beat these dudes. And that's so cool to me.
Are you gonna do any Supercrosses in America this year?
I've got some deals.
Surely.
I don't know. I'm sure I'll be at some Supercross in America.
That'd be sick.
I may do a full series on 250s because I'm eligible again.
Dude, that would be so fucking sick.
So, but I gotta play it out and like see what makes sense.
Will Hahn, give him a bike right now.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe if we get to bed, it's 10 o'clock. If I get to bed the next like hour and a half, maybe I can pull something off good tomorrow, and maybe everybody will start giving me the good parts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just give him one of them star bikes. We know there's plenty of them laying around.
It'd be fun, like I 250s. Like I hated them. I only rode them for one West Coast series.
Yeah, I feel like the bike might have got a bit better since then.
But dude, they're now like as fast as my 450 was back then. Like I don't think there's a better bike. I rode one with like Olin's suspension, and I was faster on that than my 450. And not dissing Olin's suspension or nothing, but it wasn't even set up for me.
Yeah. Dude, that's it. That's got my mind going like, West Coast.
So so there's a little bit. I'm gonna take a break when I get home and do snow bikes for X Games. Like I really, really want to win that, and I know that's big for like my sponsors. So, but I don't think it's if I'm training to do that when I get back, I still have like a month to get ready for.
What's the process of training on a snow bike? Do you have to just go up in the snow?
Go be miserable in negative 15 degrees and.
So where do you go?
I'm gonna go to Minnesota.
Fuck that place.
Minnesota's great.
In the
awesome
winter,
people.
In
man.
the winter,
great.
bro. Dude, I can't do that shit.
It's not bad if you got like if you can keep your feet dry and you got like keep your feet dry and you got like the under layers and stuff. It ain't bad. Like. You go ride and you'll be in the elements for like 20-30 minutes, and then you come back in and you hover around the heater and warm back up in a trailer or something, and then go do it again. You know what I mean? It seems like so bad, but once you live through it, you're like it actually is kind of cool. You're like you're kind of like you're out there in the elements dealing with this. It's snow, like screw this, but I'm doing it. And I mean, snowbike, it's just a totally different just a new thing to tackle. And it's a growing sport, and maybe one day like snow bikes will be really cool and agile and like a dirt bike and light. Maybe I mean I hope so, because they're so new and it seems like a good concept. I know like the dudes at Timber Sled and Yeti, like they're like trying to make them like
what do they like to ride now?
Heavy. And then the bikes, like they need to make a specific snow bike engine. Because like 450s just aren't fast enough. Like you gotta like build a 450 out to the max to make it feel like a 250.
Because you got one of those, you got like a Yamaha 450 like fucking bombed, right?
Yeah, I had this guy Junior Jackson who he builds like just basically bikes for like top speed. Like he builds hill climb bikes, he builds flat track bikes. Like my pipe like comes straight out because the Yamaha's got
there's like no muffler, right?
There's no header. It comes straight out the back, does a little turn, and comes and it's a pipe. There's no header. Like the thing just screams like it. We did it. We put on the dyno, and like the dyno would get like I think a stock Yamaha like 60 horse or 61 horse, which is high for most dynos. And I think mine made 81 horse on that dyno or something. So it's like, it's a couple, like it's on other dynos, the number is going to vary and stuff, but it's like, what is that? Close to
It's like 20 horsepower more.
Well, it's
really.
20 horsepower, but I'm thinking like the percentage wise, it's like 30% more power or something like that. Like that's pretty good.
It's a big jump.
Yeah.
What was that thing like to ride in the hills?
It was cool. Well, there was just this one. It wasn't cool for technical stuff, but there's this one jump that like Raha kind of resurrected. It was like over this. It was over a road. It was just like a big tall cliff, and like you could just like back in the day, it was wide open. Everything you had just to get up on top of it. But then I realized like another 100 feet, 80, 100 feet down, like there was a landing, and you couldn't get to it on a stock 450. Like
I couldn't imagine that.
And so I was just like, oh, let me take that thing out there and send it to the landing. It really wasn't gnarly, like, because it's just, it was like the landing kind of followed you, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, it made it way cooler because you were landing on a downside and you had to hit it way faster. And you probably, I mean, we never measured it or nothing, but it was probably a clean, like, it had to be close to 200 feet.
It's a fucking big jump, dude.
It was about as safe as 200 feet could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you thought about that, you know, that General Sipes thing that Red Bull's doing?
Yeah.
Have you thought, like, if Red Bull made that into a series, or like someone made that into a series, would that be something you'd do? Because like he did the hill climb, which you did, and then did you do the same one as him?
No, I didn't even know he was doing it. I already had plans to do it. And then he showed up and did one. Oh, Snake, you got me. And I already knew, like, he's got Red Bull backing him to do kind of what I do at Monster.
Yeah.
Like, but I do more
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
It's like he does GNC. He does like GNCC where I do like freeride. And like, so we're different.
Could do GNCC.
Supercross is like I'd love to race him in some Supercross more. Like that's where we should just meet up and race. Like,
but you wouldn't do that, like you wouldn't do the fucking Erzberg rodeo.
No, hell no.
You wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I want to pay somebody so I look like a dummy in front of all my friends and get wet and cold and screw my bike up. That sounds like the worst idea ever.
We're just saying I want to ride for fun. You should go do Erzberg. I'm good.
Yeah, that doesn't look fun. I don't want to have to drag my bike up over a tree
like a quarry of rock.
Yeah, and then like get stuck. I don't know, man. I'm good on that. I actually tried to go to I tried to race him at this thing. It was a sprint enduro. It just happened to be like out in North or South Carolina, like an hour down the road. And me and Jace Owen were like doing nothing. And we seen Caleb Russell the day before at a track. He's like, come race, come check it out. And I got something in my eye out hiking so it was 2 days before. And the next day I was out hiking with my girlfriend and I was like screwing around, jumping on like hanging off some tree. And I was looking up and I got like a bunch of bark in my eye. I didn't really think anything of it, but overnight, like it got like, just anyways. I go out to this race, and I'm all packed up. I sign up. I go to this race, and I'm driving, and I'm thinking like, man, I got like my eye hurts, and like as the day went on, like I literally went to where I couldn't see out of my eyes. So I went there, rode one lap, and went home, and everybody thought like I just like wimped out.
Like you got punked out by
like,
sides.
Yeah, and. Which I mean, I don't know if I would ever beat him anyways or been even close, but like I really did want to do it, and then cool. I had to I literally couldn't see. Like it was like dangerous driving home.
Dude, that's heavy.
But I'd like to do it again. Those sprint enduros are pretty cool. They're they're like time trials.
Okay.
But what I figured out I got to do if I do them, those guys have those electric mountain bikes, and there's a course, right? It's probably like I don't know however long, like it's 10 minutes or 10-minute lap like through the trees or something on a dirt bike. Maybe more, 50, whatever, 10 minutes, let's say. But those guys go there on those electric mountain bikes and pedal the track for like 10 times and like mark the trees and like find little cool cheater line. Well, not cheater lines. It's part of like quick but they find like this line like, oh, you just dip through there. Like, and they figure stuff out. And I just showed up there like with one eye, like walking around like, yeah, I'm going to try to race for a second. And I didn't have a hope. Like I would love to do it though, but I'd have to definitely like prepare for it.
Yeah.
And I was on my only bike I had was that snow bike thing that I was talking about, and it was not ideal for like the woods. Gnarly, it wasn't ideal for the woods and stuff.
80
and,
horsepower.
Yeah, it was like that was about how much I'd crack the gas. Like, bop, bop.
Dude, we've been doing these Transmoto enduro races where it's 6, like they do 12, 6 and 8 hours, and you get a team so you can get like 2 or 3 buddies, and it's just a transponder. So you can ride whatever bike you want, you can swap bikes, you can ride the same bike, like it literally doesn't matter as long as your transponder goes around the track. And the only bike I got is a Honda 450, and like it was through all these tight trees and shit, and I was just like, I come in, I was like, I will literally ride anything else. Like, anybody else has a fucking bike that I can ride, I'm down. And I could not imagine riding a fucking 80 horsepower 450 through that shit.
It was cool. Like, and how it works is like there's a grass track, and then there's like a
yeah, that's kind of how these are.
and then a thing or a woods track, and then you do it like through over the course of the weekend. I think you do it like 12 laps around all of these or something. Then like the lowest time wins. So you can't make mistakes. But I was actually, I mean, I obviously was far off. Like, you know, I didn't feel good, and I kind of just rode around. But I was kind of just riding around like, I wonder how, like, where I'll, like, if I beat anybody. And I think I'd be like was like faster than like maybe two people, like, you know, like
with one eye. But
I mean, no, but like what I mean, and I wasn't on my A game at all. Yeah. But I still like was like, I'm just gonna go ride around and then like see if maybe it gets better. And then it kind of got worse. So then I looked at the time and I'm like, yeah, no,
I'm out on this.
Did one lap. And was like, yeah, okay.
Have you seen that TT shit?
Yeah. Well, you're talking like the
flat track stuff.
Yeah, that looks cool.
I feel like you do alright with that shit too.
I suck outdoors.
Yeah, so you just don't like that style.
I just don't like a hang it out type guy. Like, I don't like getting head shake. Like I Supercross. I like jumps. Like, the more technical, the more time you're in the air, like the less I don't know. For me, the more comfortable I feel. Like, I'd rather be 40 feet in the air than going 40 miles an hour swapping out.
Dude, I did. We just rode from Cairns, which is like way up north where we grew up, to the tip of Australia and back. So it was like we went 8 days. It was like 8 hours a day. Like I had a KTM 450 with fucking motocross gearing, and like I'd never really ridden a bike in top gear that much because I was always the same. I was like, I don't really want to just fucking hold it open. Like, I don't really see the point. But after 8 days, just literally holding a 450 fifth gear wedged for like hours at a time, like until the thing ran out of fuel, I was like, I kind of get this now. Like, it actually turned into fun for me. But forever, dude, I was like, this is fucking, like, I don't want to go this fast.
Yeah, I don't like crashing at those speeds.
It's so gnarly, dude.
I mean, it's fun. I like it. I just guess I haven't done it, you know? Like, there wasn't really any money to be made in motocross for me. Like, I always just had Supercross only type deals, and then I just spend the rest of the time like doing what I like to do. Like, after I got hurt, you know? Yeah. And I just spend the rest of the time doing what I like doing, and I was always cool with that. And what I like doing had motocross suspension or enduro suspension, and felt like I would just ride Supercross or freeride for the longest time. Yeah. And then this year, I was like, I need to get back into shape. I'm like, I'm turning 30. I'm fat. I just had a beer belly, you know. I just like was eating whatever I wanted and just, you know.
You're not an athlete.
I wasn't an athlete. I would ride and I would do cool stuff on a dirt bike, and I would occasionally go race, and I could hold my own. But I was, you know, I just had let that go. I wasn't trying to, and then I'm like, you know, I'm turning 30, and being a 30-year-old like partied out fat dude that goes big on a dirt bike, like, I think I'm over that. And so I just like, it was like April this year, and I'm like, I'm gonna start mountain biking all the time. Like, yeah, this is gonna be sick. Like, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like it's gonna be sick, but that's what I try to tell myself until it actually, and now I love it. And then I put motocross suspension on my bike, and I would just go to the track and just go ride out 20 minutes, and then just like do all the stuff that like I wouldn't do from the whole time that I quit racing dirt bikes. I just went back to the basics. Like, just go to the track. Let's just go ride. Like, you're not gonna be the fastest guy. You suck outdoors. We just try to like keep gaining it, you know. And then I felt like I gained so much back from doing that. And then now, like, where before I could still go real fast for like one lap, well, now I can go fast for a lap, and then I can figure out what I did wrong and go faster and go faster and go, like, and I can charge through like programs that even when I was at my peak, like, I was sweating in a day. Now I'm doing it. I'm like loving it every single, I don't know.
It's crazy you get to that point, because like with my jiu-jitsu stuff that I do, like, I got to the point where now it's like, if I don't train in a day, like when I do trips like this, I just let go. I'm like, all right, you can't train. But when I'm at home, I'm like, I'm fucking freaking out to train. And it's like, it's not, you don't have that for a while, but you definitely hit a point where you're like, dude, this is me now. Like, I actually really enjoy how hard this shit is. And I wondered, as soon as you said like I was going to train, I wondered if you hit that point.
Yeah, it was like, it becomes a challenge. I mean, just like, what do you say, you rode for 8 days straight? Yeah. Like that, I'm telling you, I wouldn't sign up for that.
It was fun as fuck.
And you guys
but like
got,
the whole time it was like, I was like, this sucks. Like, I feel like I want to go home. And then
you're probably at one point you're like, I'm just gonna do it because like I'm not gonna wimp out, right?
Yeah,
like,
everyone else was doing it.
Everyone else is gonna do it. Like, I can't wimp out. But then like after a while, you probably actually want to pat yourself on the back for it.
Yeah,
right?
dude, it was like really fun. It was like a really cool experience. And then like it was crazy too to like the shit you tell yourself in your head. Like, I don't like going fast. Like, that's just what I told myself. And then like I'd be Top Gear wide open, and then I'm like, just let it go. Just enjoy it. Like, this is fun. Like, obviously shit's fucked. Like, you could get fucked up, but it's more what you tell yourself in your head. And it's like when I told myself like, oh dude, this is a fucking long day, like I'd be asking like, how many miles are we doing today? And then like by the, you know, midway through I'm like, I don't give a fuck how many miles we're doing, like as long as my bike keeps going, like I'm good. But it's all the sort of the shit you tell yourself.
Yeah. You see some crazy stuff out there while you're doing that, like animals and like snakes, and like, you guys got some crazy stuff up there, don't you?
Well, I grew up up there.
Okay, so it's not like, crazy to you, but I'd be tripping on it, I'm sure.
Well, dude, it was funny. One of the guys, he's from Melbourne and he lives in Vietnam. He runs a Vietnam motorcycle tours. Okay. Dude, you and your chick should fucking do that. That's like the coolest 10 days you can ever have. Like, so we're going in February, and you get on these like Harley sort of like cruiser things that do shit Chinese things, and you start in like the top of Vietnam, and then you and your chick on the back, you just ride for fucking 10 days. You ride it the whole way across the country, and like this tour thing, they plan the whole deal. So you just rock up, your fucking bag's already in the hotel, and then you just go party in the city, and then you like wake up in the morning, like eat crazy food, go to crazy restaurants, and like, dude, it's like a fucking gnarly deal.
I don't know if I'd drag my chick onto that one, but that sounds like
I took my chick, dude, and she fucking loved it.
She's like, her motocross experience is meeting me, and then I have a dirt bike that's electric that she doesn't have to like.
Yeah.
And then she's like good at riding, like because like she didn't have to like learn the whole basics of like clutch and shifting. Like, it's just like, hey, you know how to ride a bicycle, right? Okay, well, do this. And then like as she could just go anywhere, like I'd be out free riding and she'd just come because she didn't want to stay at the house by herself, because she'd be visiting me in California, and then like, oh, we'll come. And then like next thing you know, like she can climb any trail that we're going to, and then when we're digging a lip, she makes her own little track, and then like, hey, put your elbows up, do this, and like and now she's like, she can get around pretty good, and I think she likes it, but I don't know if she likes it that much.
Likes it
like,
yeah.
I feel like I'd be kind of like
if you weren't riding,
I would be twisting her arm like to do that type of thing, I think.
Dude,
but I'd like to do it with some buddies. Maybe me and you'll do it one time.
Dude, where I'm gonna do that ride from, like, I'll show you some videos later from.
Can we get Sammy to do it?
Yeah, Sammy's gonna do it, and Chad wants to do it.
That'd be fun.
Chad's like legit, because the whole time I was up there, he was messaging me like, dude, I'm doing it, because I invited him this time, but he was doing the car thing, and like the whole time he's like, fuck, I blew it. Are you gonna do it again? We should do it again. And he said, let's do it 2020. I was like, no, I need it like a little bit, because it's hard, bro. Like, we were like putting sticks in between our axles and like putting our bikes on our shoulders and like walking through fucking rivers that are like up to our chest deep and shit, and like it was like, it's an adventure, bro. Like,
I thought you said it was fun. Like,
it was fun. Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it was hard as fuck, but like it sort of made it fun. But yeah, that dude. I got sidetracked with the Vietnam story, but so the guy that owns the Vietnam tours. So we did the tour with him in Feb, and then we were talking about the Cape, and he's like, I'm doing it, and so he's like, comes up, and there's like this lagoon, and he's standing there trying to take like photos and shit. I'm like, hey man, like, you really need to get back from the water. And he's like, no, like, I'm just gonna get a photo. I'm like, bro, please just fucking come in. Like, I was kind of tripping on it, because it's like the biggest crocodiles in the world are like just right there, just straight chilling, and he just had no idea. So that was like the craziest thing. But like the whole time we're riding, like there's like kangaroos fucking skipping out in front of you, and like heaps of like,
I'm scared of that stuff. Like, I don't have that,
dude. But I'm telling you, I'm that guy. Like, I'm fucking scared. Like, we went through this one section of road, so we rode a couple of sections on the way up and back. So on the way up, I was probably doing like, kilometers wise, I was doing probably like 80 kilometers through these, like, it's sort of like it's like open single track. It's like one road that they've graded in, and it sort of snakes along. And I was probably doing like 80 kilometers an hour. On the way back, I'm doing 130. Like, you just get so used to it, man.
But what about, like...
You just forget.
I know you forget.
You've been riding for so long, dude.
I know, that's what scares me. I would forget, too, until a kangaroo kicked me in the chest when I'm going that fast.
Dude, we're on the last day, dude, with like 2 hours to go. There's this crazy road called the Krebs Track. And it's like graded into this mountain range, and you go over it. There's all these river crossings, and they've got like these water bars. So it's so fun on a dirt bike because like if you look far enough, you can like double down and like cool. Step up. One of the funnest rides I've ever done in my life. And but there's heaps of cars on it, like 4-wheel driving. And yeah, probably 2 hours to go of this fucking 2,000 kilometer adventure, and this car comes around this blind turn, and me and my brother are fucking hooking, dude. And like I thought I fucking hit it with my front brake lever. Like that's how close we were to this 4-wheel drive, dude. Like that was the sketchiest moment. It wasn't like animals and shit, but like and then like 20 k's in, I was just standing up on the pegs cruising, like full chill on the bike. And I just hit a huge hole, dude, like endoed, like full 5th gear panic rev, like. But that was my only 2 like sketchy moments of the whole trip.
See, I got too much respect for what could go wrong in that situation, man. I'm really probably like when it comes to driving fast in cars, I don't drive fast in cars. There's too many other people out there. Like there's too many other people out here. Like I like riding Harleys, and like especially if you're in California and splitting traffic and getting around. But even then, like. I'll do it if I have to like get to work on time. Oh, I woke up grab the Harley. But like it's dangerous out there, man. At least I can, there's 20 other guys on the line with me in Supercross, but like I trust those guys. As much as you can trust anybody that you're in this sport, like, but you got to have trust in those guys. I don't have trust in humanity's like driving decisions or like just texting just all that kind of stuff. Like that freaks me out. So I would probably be the guy holding you up.
Nah, dude.
I would be the guy holding you up.
I'm telling you, I'm the shittest dude ever at riding. And like by the end of it, I was just like, I'm all in on this fucking hooking it quick shit. But dude, you know when I fucking blanked on what to say before? I wanted to say like how gnarly it was for you to like get your parents out of debt. Like, do you remember that feeling then? Because like that's one of like the crazy things in moto is like it's so expensive to do, and for your kid to like go through doing that, and then it's like you go pro and you see so many kind of families get fucked up with that, and like you like for you to get your parents out of debt, like that's fucking gnarly, dude. Like that's a noble thing to do after like all that shit.
I mean, I didn't ever feel like there was an option, like not because they were making me. It was just like
no, that's what I mean. That's like
it was just
cool.
They put so much into it, and I mean, my grandpa is really the one that just like he just kept it going. Like my grandpa was the one that like he's the coolest dude on earth. Like he was, and the funny thing is too, like he was. His motocross or motorcycle background is like he would do hill climbs with his buddies, like just for fun. Like, hey, on the Harleys, let's see if we can get up that hill. He's probably the one that's most pumped that I went and did a hill climb. But it was just my family was full on into it, and they took me everywhere. They dedicated their life to it, and But the thing is, I mean, my parents had me. They were super young. My dad and mom were like 17, 19 when they got married, and they had me when they're like 21. And
damn, that's
like,
heavy. I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's like for me, like at times like I got mad at him over things, and like we didn't talk for a little bit and all that, but at the end of the day they were kids trying to have kids, and they raised me, and they like took me riding and dedicated their life to me. So I mean, I can't hold it. Like I love my family to death. Like we had our rough times and we did things, and I was a dumbass, and I see that now, and I wish you could always just go back and hit the reset button and everybody could have cool heads, but it is what it is.
That's families, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, man, it's cool to see my little brother killing it. Like I'm the most proud big brother, and you'll never make me mad ever. Like I'm the most nothing. You can come up and just slap me on the. I mean, I'm not saying that like because somebody will probably do it.
I was gonna say, don't say that.
Like I'm pretty cool. Like nothing really revs me up or gets me mad. Like I got a pretty even temper. But man, if you talk shit on my little brother, like that's when I snap, and that's the only thing. Like I mean, I talk shit on him, but
but that's because you're allowed. But dude, I'm the same. I'll talk shit
to him, but Yeah, I mean, and nothing makes me more mad. And it's kind of funny because I'm sure that's how my dad was with me, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like as he comes up, I feel like I'm turning more into my dad.
Dude, I'm the same. There's a motherfucker out there I want to slap because he's fucked with my brother. But, like, there's nobody, like, I don't have beef with anybody except people that fuck with my brother.
Oh, man, nothing boils my, like.
It's crazy, eh?
Man, yeah.
Like, there's people that are fucking dicks to me, and I have no thought of, like, retaliation to them at all.
Yeah.
But, like, there's one dude that fucks with my brother, and I'm like, I want to get that shit done.
Especially with him. He's going through one of those rough patches. He had a bad 2 years, and now he's getting written off, and everybody's saying this and saying that. And,
dude,
man, it makes me so mad because I know how good he is. He's
dude,
like,
Tampa?
Dude, he's sick.
Tampa, when he, like, that was his first 450 race, right? It was Tampa, wasn't it?
Yeah. He almost won that thing.
Bro. He was hitting
that quad nobody was doing.
Dude, and then...
Hey, I won a snow bike race, and I'm at this bar. They have their award ceremony at a bar, and the race comes on. And, like, it was a pretty packed, like, function. And, like, the race is on TV. We got it on in every in the TV in the bar. I'm like... my brother's first race. Hey, he's gonna do pretty good, and then he smokes everybody in the heat race, and dude, I'm just yelling and going nuts. And then, like, I'm telling you, I've never yelled at a TV like this in my life. And the funny thing was, we had everybody in the bar, like, everybody was just like
so invested,
rooting for him. Like, the whole place was going nuts, and it was the coolest thing ever. I wasn't able to be there, but I felt like I was there.
That kind of was almost cooler though, in a way, right? Like, to have that moment, like, to have a whole bar, like, oh, this is my fucking dude.
Yeah.
That's so
that whip, like, dude, he was riding so sick too. I mean, I see him, like, I've been around I think I've spent a lot of time around the best riders of all time.
Which you have, it'd be hard to argue.
I mean, I spent time with Bubba. I spent time with Chad. I mean, I grew up racing and, you know, around Villapoto, Dungey. Like, I mean, I'm leaving people out, but I've seen some greatness. And then I see my little brother do things that it brings back memories of those guys. Like, he's so, and the thing is too, is he's deceiving because he looks like he's not even trying, and he'll just, like, go blow everybody's lap time out of the water. Like, I just watched Bursey the other night.
Dude, he looked really good.
And, like,
there.
that first night, he was the second guy out, I think, in the Super Pole. And he looked like he was just riding around. And then, like, his time comes up, and it's, like, way faster than the guy before him. But I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, he's going to probably... And then you just watch everybody going ape shit crazy trying to beat it. And, like, he looked like he was just putting around, and he just wins the Super Pole thing. Like, he's... I gotta figure out how to fire him up a little bit because he's just so gnarly. If he can just harness that, like,
he's a very mellow dude.
Yeah, he's super mellow.
Yeah, we did a film project with him. Like, I hadn't spent too much time around him at all, and then we did a film project when he was on KTM, and he, like, I had to spend a lot of time with him. It was for, like, tutorial videos, like, telling people, like, how to ride and shit, and like, so we were with him a bunch, like, right, track days, and then the interview stuff at the house, like, doing the voiceovers and shit. He's a cool motherfucker, like, an underrated cool motherfucker, and, like, the guitar stuff that he does, like, he's not, like, just an average moto kid. Like, he's actually a pretty insightful, cool dude outside of motocross, which doesn't happen to a lot of those guys that grow up in the sport like that.
That's the thing, like, you kind of have to have nothing other than motocross. Like, you almost have to, like, this is all I have to live for, and work your ass off every single day. And I think that he's realizing now that he has to harness that. Like, you got to find a way to make yourself think this is all you have and train your brain. Like, I was listening to an interview with, like, Mickey Diamond, who I think is, like, he's probably out of all the old school guys, one of the guys I look up to the most, like, most insanely talented racer. And then he pretty much started free riding, and, you know, he's just the man. But anyways, he was saying he'd, like, have to read because he was so naturally talented, but he would, like, read books that would, like, you know, like The Art of War, like, do stuff to try to, like, get himself, like, in the, I mean, I watched some interview where he said this anyways, and, like, that's the thing, like, that kind of clicked with me. I'm like, that's what my little brother needs to do. I'm like, so I'm like, from now on, no more grunge, dude. We're metal only from here on out, dude. No, Alice in Chains, no. Soundgarden, no. We're doing Metallica, we're doing Slayer, okay? Sepultura, like,
we're getting
like,
into this
we're
shit.
gonna you got to go in, and I don't know if I've gotten through to him, but man, if he could harness that, I'm telling you, he would be the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, he would.
Dude, like Tampa, man, like there was the coolest thing, like the quad was sick, and like he was doing some cool shit, but there was a like kind of like an awkward flat berm after the finish line, a left-hander, and bro, he was like half a second faster than everybody in that one turn, and I was like, no one's talking about this. Like, who the fuck can make up half a second in a 90-degree left-hander after a finish line?
I mean, dude, he just started picking guys off. He passes Cooper, he passes Tomac, he was picking those guys off like flies. And I mean, I thought this year he was going to do the same thing, but it just, for whatever reason, sometimes it just doesn't click. Sometimes you lose your confidence. Sometimes you lose your mojo. And man, but I'll tell you, that was when he was out there, like his championship was cool, but like I bet, man, that like the proudest moments of my life have been watching my little brother. Like I don't know what it is. I mean, you got brothers, so it's just, yeah. So I mean, I think he can really do it if he just harnesses it. And if he doesn't, I'm gonna love him to death. Yeah. No matter what. I mean, but I gotta be like, dude, look at me. You don't want to be me, dude. You don't want to be me. You want to be the guy.
Funny. Like it's funny how the little brother thing works, man. Like, I wonder if it's the same with you guys. Like, was he like super competitive with you?
Nah, he was 6 years younger than me.
So it's a pretty big gap, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we were, but like we were just kind of like.
Yeah, you guys like never would have been on the same bike at the same time and shit like that.
No,
yeah,
I mean, it was like video games and like doing this, like. I never learned how to snap my fingers, and like anytime he just like always just snapped his fingers in my ear when he walked by.
You still can't snap your fingers?
I can't do it.
What?
I can't do it.
That's a fucking weird one.
Right?
It's like people that can't whistle.
I can whistle. Like I like was like super uncoordinated when I was a kid. It's funny. Like
that is fucking funny, dude.
Just like little things like that. I could just never. I still never figured that one out. I don't know why. I've tried. Don't get me started.
That's hectic. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I've heard of people not being able to whistle.
Yeah.
That's like saying you can't clap.
Right. I just can't wrap my head around it. I don't know why.
Dude, it's fucking cool the way that you talk about your little brother, because I have the exact same feelings about my little brother. Like, he fucking kills it. He manages like Toby Price and all those big dudes, and like just kills it. And like, I literally want nothing more. Like, there's no like competitive shit between, because we're close. We're only like 18 months apart. I'm like, dude, I would love nothing more than to just see you kill it forever. There's just something about your little brother.
I just want to see him like just meet his potential. Like I know he's better than me. Or in my eyes, I think he's better than me, and I just want to see him prove it. Like he is so good, and if he can just harness that and just figure out how lucky he is to have this opportunity, or maybe he doesn't feel the same way that I do. Because I didn't feel the same way about myself when I was his age. It just happened because I was good at it. You know, sometimes you don't figure it out till later. You got to learn the hard way. And I hope that never happens. I hope he just kicks ass and gets back on track. I mean, everybody forgets he not like missed one podium his whole lights year on pro circuit, and you know, and then he won even on an RMZ 250 and the next year, right. And like straight up just handled
one on an 07.
Yeah, and then I mean he had a bad year this year, but I hope he rebounds.
What did you like? What did you think of yourself in the game back then? Like, what did you think your place was? Like, did you believe when you were racing like lights or whatever that you were just like gonna be a championship guy? Because I feel like there's a thing with riders where it's like, I think there's 3 stages of being an athlete. A stage where you know you can't win, and then you get a little bit better, and then you're like, man, I think I could win. And then there's no, I will win every race. Like, there's like a unfallible belief that you will win and that you should win. You know what I mean? There's like those kind of 3 stages. Like, where did you fit into that, do you reckon?
I think like for me, like I knew I was good. Like, so say 2008. Right. So like 2007 on 250s, I just felt like I didn't have the equipment. I just couldn't win. Like I had to ride so hard to be where I was. Then when I moved up to 450s, like I thought like, yeah, I could win. Like that'd be really cool if I won. Like,
so you think that those things are this? You think that's right? Like you think you can win, and then there's a belief. Like, do you think that's like the right spectrum?
Well, yeah, and I like it made it to where like I'm like I think I could win, and I didn't you know, like, yeah, if things went right, and then like I would have a really good race and kind of a little bit of an off race and a really good race, and then like 2010, like the guys that I'm racing against for the championship are not who we expected to. You expect it to be Bubba and Chad. And then those guys have a bad year, and, you know, Bubba gets banged up, and I'm like, now I'm racing against Dungey and Villapoto. I'm like, I am not going to let these dudes take my champion. Like, this is my championship. That's what I'm thinking, you know. And then I ended up getting hurt. Like, I broke some ribs, and, you know, when the series headed east, and hit my head, and just like, then I just had to kind of ride it out. But yeah, like that in my head then, and so that's why I was like getting like 5 straight podiums in a row. Like, you know, I never won a race that year, but I was like one like would qualify fastest, win the heat race, and then just like something would happen there, or maybe I'd settle for second because I was just being a little bit like cautious. Like, this is a long season. Yeah, and but I was like, yeah, this is mine. Like, I went up to the line, like, looked around, and like, no, none of these guys scare me.
That's sick.
And that was, you know, and that mindset was great. I just didn't have it for a long enough amount of time. That's like, if I would have been able to keep, you know, could go back, like, and stay in that zone and stay healthy. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't, those guys didn't intimidate me anymore. Even my heroes, Chad and Bubba, didn't intimidate me anymore. Like, I was beyond that now. Actually, I think Bubba would always intimidate me. Yeah, no matter what, because he's just nuts. He's just the man.
Dude, it's funny. Like, even Ricky, like, because he always gives me shit. Because the first time I went and shot at his house, like, I just hung out with Bubba for the first time, and I was like telling Ricky how cool Bubba was. And Ricky's like, who the fuck is this Australian cunt telling me how dope? He was literally giving me shit for it last night. I was like, I don't give a fuck, bro. You go do that crazy shit then.
You know he's gnarly. Shut up.
Yeah. But then, like, even last night, and at the press conference today, he's like, because he was saying to Townley, he's like, oh yeah, so let's just double the rhythm sections and then triple the triple, but like, let's not triple the rhythm sections. And then Townley's like, oh, all right, whatever. And then he's like, then because Ricky goes, yeah, because man, James used to make me do shit I didn't want to do all the time. Like, he just held such like a grudge. It's like, for fucking 12 years later, bro, he's still dirty on James doing that shit.
Nobody gives James the credit he deserves. James had something that nobody else had, and nobody else still has. Like, Tomac will show a glimpse of it, but Bubba was like, he just did shit that didn't make sense on the daily.
Yeah, every day,
like,
bro.
Come on, like, this sport needs to, like, we need to just kind of suck it up, just give James like the bow of gnarliness. Like, he was the gnarliest. Okay, he didn't win the most races. Okay, Carmichael won the most races. Let's give it to him. Carmichael is the GOAT in racing, but Bubba was the gnarliest, hands down. Like, Chad is in, like, could beat Bubba on nights, but Chad was smart. Like, Chad, like, wasn't that guy that would scare you. Like, yeah, okay, don't leave the door open, Chad's gonna run it in on me. But you wouldn't have to, like, think that he would just fly from like 50 feet behind you and pass you like Bubba would.
Straight up, dude. I bet every fucking guy, well, the guys that had to race Bubba, like Chad and James and Kevin, they would have all been driving into Daytona Speedway. I bet they all had the same thing go through their head at one point. What the fuck is this cunt gonna do? Like, that, it was like, there was some races where it's like, you went there and it was just like, you knew you were gonna have to deal with some retarded shit that he was about to do. And he fucking did it, like, every day.
He was just nuts, man. I mean, just like, he just, I don't know.
Why doesn't he get the credit? Like, why do people just, like, because people sort of do sleep on him. Like, people associate his name as like this negative thing, I feel like, now. But it's like, how the fuck should that work? Like, he was the baddest motherfucker ever.
He dedicated his life. The things that he gave fans, the risks that he took in front of a live crowd. Nobody's doing that. No. Nobody's doing that.
Dude, like,
but I don't know. I just think probably because, like, you know, in this sport, this is something my dad told me when I was a little kid, and nothing's been more true in this sport my whole life. You're only as good as your last race. My dad would tell me that because if, like, I've lost my last race, you're only as good as your last race. That dude's better than you. And nothing's more true. This sport, maybe it's all sports, but this sport, I notice it.
It's ruthless.
If you suck for 2 races, then you suck. Like, that's just how it goes. You're only as good as your last race. So Bubba had he had his thing where this drug test thing. I think if that wouldn't have happened, I'm pretty sure Bubba would have won some more championships.
I 100% agree.
That was just a whack deal, in my opinion. And then he comes back, and then he just gets straight leveled, blindsided by Dungey, which was never happens. Like, yeah, I mean, it was just an unintentional. I don't think it was on purpose at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Dungey, I mean, it's completely outside of his character to do something like that. But it just leveled him, and I just think, I think maybe just this is purely my speculation. I just think, how many times Bubba hit the ground hard? Like, you get to a point where you kind of become numb to how much abuse that you're taking on your noggin, and I think maybe it just caught up to him. And then how do you love what that he probably just didn't feel like himself. This is just my speculation and what I think, like, and then you take the he didn't talk to anybody, and he just stepped away, and he did it. He didn't owe us anything, but all these fans out there on message boards feel like James Stewart still owes you something. James Stewart left it all on the track. That dude was the man. I'm sure there's tons of dudes that don't like him. Like Travis Preston probably don't like him because he jumped back on the track and he smashed him. And if I was Ricky or Chad, I had to race him that fiercely, I'm sure I wouldn't like him either. But as a fan, there ain't never been anybody like James Stewart, and who knows if there will be again. Because
you got to think, dude, like James and Ricky, when they raced each other, like there was still a guy that was gonna push it hard to win. But it's like they sort of both. It was almost like they had this gentleman's agreement of like, all right, we're gonna fucking break away from the pack, and it's gonna be a battle, but I won't try and kill you in the process. Whereas James went so fast and did so much crazy shit that I think those dudes was just like, bro, what the fuck you're fucking with this thing that we've got going. Like, you were trying to kill us right now. You're either gonna kill you or you're gonna kill me, because they wanted to win that bad.
Well, I think that was. Just like as a kid and just watched all the old races, like McGrath, I'd say set that standard. Like, hey, yeah, like we're gonna race each other, we're gonna be cool. Like, McGrath was way faster, but he seemed to race everybody with a lot of respect. Yeah,
he wasn't just blowing out the scoreboard.
And then Carmichael came in, and then Carmichael was that guy that just did that ape shit stuff. Like, remember when he would toss a whip backwards off a triple next to people, and then I remember one time he did a nose wheelie and looked over and punked Sebastian Tortelli in the downhill and off camber. He would do this reckless stuff, and he took it to this level. Carmichael was just that, he changed the sport.
He was the original gangster.
And then Carmichael settles into I'm the man. And now you got Bubba coming in, who's just giving him back what he just did to McGrath. But he wasn't ready to back down like that.
Exactly.
And so that became that game. And then you got Chad lurking, who's just technically awesome. I mean, that was a really great time to be a fan in the sport.
Dude, the thing with Chad, I said to him last night, even him playing poker, he's just a fucking dog, bro. He is a dog. And it's but I was saying, he's kind of like a bull. He just doesn't get going until there's a matador fucking poking him with a sword. But it's once you fire that dude up, once you give him a reason, Chad would literally look for reasons to not like Ricky and not like James, because that was the thing that just fucking drove that dude. He was just so gnarly at I will fucking beat you.
I mean, Chad Reed was unheard of in the United States in 2002. I seen him his first day that he came to the States. We were parked at Lake Elsinore. I was from Oregon, just down visiting. We had my motorhome and trailer, and we were just riding Lake Elsinore. It was 2000. It would be in the off season of 2001. And this dude pulls up in this beater Datsun truck with big old earrings and. Well, yeah, you mate. Hey, you know what the Supercross track is?
No,
he's got
shit.
some it was the brand. It was a 250F, 103 on it, and I'm just yeah. It's hey, it's over there, because he was looking. He'd never, his first time to the track, and he was looking for the Supercross track.
That's it.
Oh yeah, good on. And that just he probably doesn't remember this, but I do, because I'm 103. I'm who's that guy? Then he goes out, and I think he was might have got a podium in the 250 class on a YOT, or he was sitting third in the championship or something in the 250 class before he ever made his 125 debut. And then he won almost every race.
Yeah.
Then he steps up the very following year and challenges Ricky for the championship, like he made an impression. Like
he did it different, huh?
Like nobody came in like that. Like, he was completely unheard of, and then changed the face of the sport.
Dude, you're right.
Like Chad's gnarly. Like I have so much respect for all these guys. But that being said, nobody took risks like Bubba and made it like Chad came in and did all this stuff, but he was so technically good and he was so mentally strong, and he was just like that guy. Like he would just figure it out, and he would just always be there in the end. Like he was gnarly.
Well, like that's what Ricky said last night. Like hearing them bench race was pretty rad. Yeah. But like Ricky was saying that anytime Chad got like busted up, like he was at the hospital, Ricky would be like, "Fuck, I need to win." Like, because he just knew he was almost going to be better when he was like coming out of hospital with like 4 busted ribs and a busted shoulder. Ricky was like, he's probably going to be harder to beat tonight. That's a gnarly dude.
I mean, dude, he got real busted up at Detroit or something in 08.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't remember exactly what he did, but he
like punctured a lung and then he checked himself out of hospital.
Yeah, he collapsed his lung. Something. Yeah, he did something like broke ribs and then just like showed up and still raced and then still raced, then still won a championship. Like Chad's a bad dude.
Dude, you know what's crazy is the way that you guys all looked at Dungey and Villapoto coming out of amateurs. Like those guys were just like not on your radar, huh?
Well, no, they were.
In a way, though. Like, because
Dungey
you were like
wasn't. Dungey wasn't. Like, I didn't expect anything. Like, I'm not all respect to him, but, like, he was nowhere. Like, I seen a picture that he was at U.S. Open with us on 80s. And, again, I don't mean any disrespect, but I did not know that he was there at the time or know his name until, like, the year before we went pro. Like, I maybe had heard of him, but I looked at a picture, I'm like, well, that's Dungey. Well, he was there. Like, that's wild.
That's gnarly to think, though, bro.
Because he was just always that guy. Like, he was good, don't get me wrong, but like he was never like on that level. And then his last 3 years, like, I mean, I think it's something too when you're a little kid and like you just like you 13 and you just kind of starting to become a man. Like you just things change in you too. Like,
yeah,
it's a whole different thing. That's why I always tell parents with kids, like, don't trip that you didn't win the 50 championship this year.
Yeah.
If you can't make it to Loretta's because times are tight, don't go. Like, you know, don't, like, just chill. You're gonna be fine. Just keep working. If the kid's good enough and likes it enough, the cream's gonna rise to the top at the right time. I think at least that's why I think of it.
What do you think about the sport now, especially working as a TM for like Monster? Like, you've seen a few different sides of it, and then now you're sort of like the pro freeride guy. Like, I don't know, what do you think about just like Supercross right now?
I think it's in an awesome place. Like, it's going in a good direction. I think it's just different because when we race Supercross, like coming in, we're riding carbureted bikes that were kind of heavy. Nothing, like, no matter how, if you had a factory Yamaha, it still didn't run clean. Thing with, like, if you overshot a jump into the face of the next one, it'd go bah. Like,
really?
Yeah, and that's just, it's different now. Now bikes like today, I could launch this double into the face of the triple that had ruts, and I could literally like launch into the face of the triple and know my bike's just gonna land and I can just scrub through this next jump. That'd be like a suicide mission on an 07 YZ250F. And it took a different riding style to ride it. Like, it took more finesse, it took more things. You had to have more respect for it, or else you'd eat shit. And now it's like, it's more like a athletic sport. I feel like, I mean, you look at the lap time differences from 2008 between first and 20th, and I bet you lap times are probably 5 to 6 seconds slower from maybe 7, let's say, or maybe more. And then if you look at a rate, like, especially in qualifying, let's say like first to 20th in qualifying was probably, like 7 seconds, 5 seconds at least. Now, first to 20th sometimes is a second.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that tight?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never really thought to look at that.
And I don't think it's because, I don't think like, oh, everybody's just so much faster now, because like I feel like I can go out and throw it right in the mix for a lap, you know? Like, it's just, equipment's different. And now you have to be like this racer. You have to be this like, it's just different.
Yeah.
But I hope it's getting more recognized. I hope like maybe, we're doing I hope they just keep doing a better job of showing what this sport's really about and why everyone loves it. And I mean, once you're a fan of this sport, you never really drop out of it.
Nah, you're right.
Like, you always keep an eye on it. I think we got to get dirt bikes in more people's hands, so then we have more fans. Like, that's why electric bikes, I swear, is going to change the sport, because I think you're going to be able to have, like, you have go-kart tracks where you just show up and you go ride. We could make little supermoto tracks like that with these electric bikes, because they last forever and they're not that dangerous. You can tune them down to as little as you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Because right now, if you think about motocross, like, how did you get involved? Family?
Dad.
Family or friends? Yeah. That's the only way. Nobody just goes to the bike shop, goes, hey, here's 12 grand, give me a bike.
Yeah.
I want to get into dirt bikes. Try. I mean, maybe a couple, but not like, we got to get people, like, just get their foot in the door and liking the sport, and then they'll never leave.
Dude, that's so true. Like, the whole go-kart model, because, like, everybody goes and has done go-karts, like a family sort of thing. Imagine if there was, like, a cool, like, TTR 125 size, like, Alta supermoto deal where you could go and ride, like, no gears, no clutch, you could really fucking win some people over.
For sure. I mean, you just make, like, the most basic fun track that, like, hey, like, what do you do? Let's go to the dirt bike. Let's go to the supermoto track, or the TTR Palace.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you want to call
it. It's like right next to a putt-putt.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, you just have this little track, and, like, it's basic, and then, then you got the dudes that they don't have bikes, but man, I love it. I'm going back. Like, I'm top 12 I'm top 12 this week.
I got the lap record.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you just suck people in. Next thing you know, those guys are going down to the bike shop to buy a real dirt bike.
Lifers.
Now they're going to buy a real dirt bike that's gas, and then now all of a sudden they're dirt bike enthusiasts. I mean, that's my thinking. We gotta get people's foot in the door. We gotta make it less offensive. We gotta break people in, and then you're gonna be two wheelers for life.
Well, that's what, like, I definitely think the stuff that you shoot and, like, the content and stuff that you put out, especially on Instagram, like, 'cause it's so easy for shit to go viral. It's like, because that's one thing that I've really noticed lately. It's with the podcast, dude. Like, the fucking people that follow the podcast is actually ridiculous in terms of they're, like, fucking the top level dudes in, like, all these random sports. And I'll always, like, I never want to be a cool cunt and be like, not fucking DM someone or whatever. So I'm always like, hey man, fucking rad, you follow me, I'm a fan, like, fucking sick. And they all write back like, I just fucking love the moto dudes, bro. Like, the moto dudes are, like, the coolest motherfuckers. And it's like, it's guys from, like, fucking Formula 1 and car racing, and, like, every dude in the downhill world championships. Like, all of these guys look at you guys as, like, the fucking coolest guys. Like, even when Ando went to the GP, like the MotoGP this year, like, all those dudes, like, tripping on Team Freeride. So it's like the Supercross and motocross dudes, like, they've always, for whatever reason, been, like, the coolest guys.
That's cool that it's still like that. That's how I always felt about, like, Jeremy McGrath and, all the people that I looked up to. Like, those dudes were like gods to me, But then, like Greg Albertine, I thought that guy was the coolest dude on earth.
Dude,
I met him when I was a little kid. I was, this guy is cool. That's who I want to be like. And anyways, but yeah, maybe just because I'm friends with these guys now.
Yeah. And
I'm in there, like, you just get, like, now
you're that guy to people.
Yeah, and I think I'm a dork, so I just think, like, I don't know, I can't think that I'm ever. I just think it must have been cooler before.
Yeah.
In the back of my head, which probably was.
Were you drinking the Kool-Aid though when you were young, like, for a bit?
I mean,
or did you always think you were a dork?
Well, no, I mean, I don't think I'm a dork, but like, I don't think I never thought, like, I'm the pinnacle. I'm the pinnacle of this. I'm the man. Like,
yeah.
I never really thought like that. I mean, maybe I had confidence around chicks or something, but just, you know what I mean, some false I had too much confidence for how I looked.
But I mean, you can be smooth with chicks without being a fucking badass on a dirt bike.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, but I never, like, thought of myself as, like, oh, I'm the pinnacle of this, I'm cool, like the way I thought of the other people that were in my shoes. I never thought of myself like that.
It's interesting though, because, like, I feel like, and obviously, like you said, you've met so many of those people, like, we're around those people. I don't feel like that many of them actually think like that.
That they're the
shit.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I probably not. They probably don't.
Yeah, because, like,
I hope Seth Enslow does, because he really is.
He's a fucking badass, dude. Like, bro, like, getting him on the podcast is like, the fucking funniest thing about that, man. Like, he just didn't know what a podcast was, and he thought it was like 15 minutes. And because I just assume, like, at this point, I've been doing this for 2 years, and it's like a big show. So I'm like, I feel like he knows what he's in for. Like, you sort of sit down for a couple of hours. So anyway, he rocks up with Bubba, and then like 10 minutes in, I'm like, this motherfucker's getting antsy. Like, he had no idea what a podcast was. He legit thought he was going to be there for 15 minutes.
He was just trying to hit his marks and get out of there.
Yeah. And I was like, and I got that vibe, and I was like, motherfucker, you're staying. Like, we're doing this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. But, dude, he was and is the badass.
He's the ultimate, man. Like, he just did this stuff with no, he would send stuff that dudes rode their whole life wanted nothing to do with, and he was just a weekend warrior,
dude. Like,
and he's just a badass. Like, look at even now, like, he's just a badass. He's working, just doing construction, doing tattoos like doing stuff. Like, his house is sick. Like, it's how you'd imagine his house would be when you walk in. Like, you know what I mean? He's got like diamond plate, like shiny chrome stuff. He like made all his cabinets. Like,
it's
exactly what, like, if you closed your eyes and thought about, like, yeah, he's a man. I like that guy a lot.
He's like that kind of rock star cool.
He is. He's rock star cool, and that's what I think. Like, I don't think of any. Well, I guess there's no rock stars anymore. So who's rock star?
You guys
cool?
were kind of, you and J-Lo were fucking rock stars in a way. Hanny was a rock star, MTV and shit. But it wasn't the same.
Hanny was, yeah. We might have lived a little punk rock. Like, we might have acted a little punk rock.
Yeah,
but we weren't rock stars.
Dude, Hanny's like the most. I'm so bummed that we were gonna do it this time last year. We just couldn't make it happen time wise. But fuck, he's had one of the gnarlier lives too when it comes to like motocross, man. Like, he's fucking lived every single facet of it, and then like all the reality TV shit and getting glassed in bars. Like, fuck, dude. Like, what the fuck, Hanson?
And then like his dad, like his dad's the man. Like, and he's gotta live up to that. And Hanson's had the life. Like, I've had a good life. Hanson's lived every high, every peak, every valley. Like, I mean, maybe not so much. Like, I probably lived more of the peaks and valleys on like physical pain. Yeah. But like, Hanson's had, like, he's been ripped off by people. He's been done this. Like, he's had to overcome this. He's been written off more times than anybody, and then still bounces back. And he's still the sickest style of anybody on a dirt bike.
And the nicest fucking dude,
he's
too.
He's the funniest dude, hands down. Nobody will make you laugh like that guy.
Oh, dude, I fucking love that guy. Yeah, he's one I was so bummed we couldn't make that shit happen last time.
Yeah.
How much time you got? You got to get out of here?
Let's do 10 minutes.
Get 10 more minutes?
Yeah. It's 11 o'clock. I got to get a cab back and go race tomorrow.
Yeah. With the pain thing, like, what was like the relationship with pain like? Because, dude, you went through so much shit.
Dude, to be honest, like, at one point, it was really fucked up because I had a broken femur, I had a broken humerus, I had compartments. I collapsed a lung or something, broke some ribs, but that was not even on the radar. But I got compartment syndrome, and I had to have all these surgeries, and I was getting these nerve pains.
I remember hearing that. It was so bad, everyone was talking about your nerve pains.
Like, dude, I would sit there and I couldn't, I it was like I would sit and rock, like, all day long. I'd sit and rock and just like wow, like twitch and rock, and just like I'd be talking to you, like I couldn't talk to anybody on the phone. And something would just trigger me, and like I just went like totally recluse because like I couldn't carry conversations with people.
Wow.
Like, I would go out in public and I'd try to be talking and like, it was the most gnarly thing. I mean, I remember, dude, I was just laying in bed, just, dude, straight up like contemplating trying to kill myself.
Dude, I was just wondering that. I was like, man, I'd be fucking over and out, eh?
And I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time that really, like, she helped me out so much. And kind of helped me through like a lot of bad stuff at the time, and kept a lot of demons away from me, and just was real loving and caring when I was injured like that. And that's probably the only reason, like, and just I think just the thought of my family. But man, I'm telling you, like, it was really, really dark for me. Like, it was months of this, and I had to have like 8 surgeries, and then like I had to get my Achilles tendon lengthened and then get all these bones broken. My foot, or like everything adjusted just because so my foot would go at a 90-degree angle because I was trying to walk, and I would burn holes through the bottom of my feet because I had no muscle, and it was atrophied in my bones. I would get pressure sores. Even when I was racing for Hart and Huntington, like the first year, I'd get off and like I'd go qualify like, you know, good, and then get off and get on crutches basically and hang out until I had to go like doctor my foot up and go race again. Like but for a good like 8 months, it was hell on earth, dude. Like I couldn't carry a conversation without like stuttering and twitching. Like, and I was down to like 135 pounds. Like I'm like a dude that if I don't diet and I'm walking around, I'm 190 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, dude,
fuck, that's heavy, bro. Do people really know this shit?
No, I lived in a hospital bed in the bottom of my, like in my downstairs for like months.
In a hospital bed?
Like dude, it wasn't cool.
How many people were like there for you through, like did people really
I had a couple
stick through?
buddies, you know, like I had some people that would stick through. I mean, I had,
because that's what's gnarly, like when you get in those situations and then like you've got a lot of people around you and then something like that happens and then you don't have as many, and it's like that. I think that can fuck with your head a lot too.
A lot of people, I mean, dude, like Brian Deegan came and see me in the hospital before I even knew Brian really. And I mean, like Matto would come see me here, you know, like, and hang out, and like I had a lot of like, you know, dudes that I looked up to would, you know, they would even reach out to me. And then I had my good friends that would still stick around. A lot of them went missing, which that's cool. Like, yeah, I don't, some people don't like want to be around, you know, I wouldn't necessarily want to be around that all the time. You know, if it's your buddy, you try to help them out, but like I understand both sides of it. But yeah, definitely, like you went from having like your party buddies, they aren't around no more, and then your real buddies stick around. You know, like if you're having a good time and having people over, like those dudes, they started thinning out when it got heavy. But that was good though, you know. Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, I mean, as fucked up as it is, like sometimes it's good to like thin out the herd a little bit, especially it's like you go from being like a dude making that much money, and like it's so easy to have for those people to like want to be around you, and then it's like you go through something like that dark, like that's fucking, I didn't know it was that bad. Like I heard it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Like that's fucking gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go through about like 8 surgeries, and then what was really fucked up is when I first came back, my first race back, I wasn't near ready, but I could have made the main, right? And then, you know, I qualified, I think 20th or something. But I'm talking, it was really bad. Like I really couldn't walk. Like I was, like it was dumb that I even tried to race. But I get a like good jump and I come into the first turn, and Villapoto overshot the turn and smash braked into me, and then my foot got stuck in between his frame and my frame and shattered my heel on my bad foot. And I didn't even feel it. I kept riding, and then I just kept, like, because I still don't feel my foot. Like I don't have, like, if I stepped on a frying pan right now, I would smell it before I would hear it or like feel it. Yeah.
Holy fuck, bro.
Yeah, but I've just learned to adapt to it and just don't really think about it anymore.
Dude, that's so hectic to go through. Like that whole shaking thing. Like, man, I can imagine the fucking darkness that would have felt like.
I mean, I used to just sit there and just pray, like, just like, if you're here, listen to me, like, just do something for me. Like, I am, like, I feel like I would just sit, like, every day, just by myself, just, you're not even crying anymore. You're just, like, just drained. And, you know, I would just, like, dream and just pray of, like, the day that I could be able to walk again. And then, like, as that was starting to come around, then I'm like dreaming and I'm praying about the day that, oh man, what if I could ever ride a dirt bike again and like race again. So like for me, all my prayers have really been answered, except for it just took way more work. It wasn't like I woke up like, you know, see, I couldn't snap my fingers. I did that with my mouth. I didn't just wake up and everything's fixed. It just took, it was like a process of years and years until I finally was like, you know, happy again and like pumped on it. It was like I had some dark times, and
dude, like having to go to a hotel to like get off like meds, that's deep. Like you've had to go through some shit to get to a point, because it's like no one wants to be dependent on a painkiller. Like that, literally no one wants to fucking have that thing to go through. So it's like to go through that and to know that shit's bad and to know that that's your only option, it's like that's a fucking gnarly deal. I
was starting to get temperamental. I seen like the signs in myself that I seen in through bad examples. And so even though I could still get stuff from the doctors, like I just knew like, hey, like this ain't, I gotta give something else a try.
So that was your call?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't anyone else around?
No. And then like I went to Dr. G.
Yeah.
And so I went to it was like a Best Western or something down the street from him, and just checked in for a week and left all the painkillers at home, left everything at home, and just was like, I'm gonna hang out here, and I'm gonna I like would live at Dr. G's all day, and then I'd just get up, or like I just go bounce back and forth between his and the hotel like the whole week, until then like I was I just kept myself busy enough, and luckily had a guy like him to help me through it and be supportive and try to guide me, because everybody else like, you're never gonna feel your foot again, just get used to it, like, which like doctors are kind of right, like, but they're like, you're never gonna walk, you're never gonna do this, like you're just get used to being this way. And Dr. G was like, no, just keep doing this, try this, see if this works. And although I never got full recovery, like just that much of just putting effort into it for like 3 years with his help, I mean, dude, the guy hooked me up and helped me through so much stuff. And I mean, I can't thank that guy enough.
He's a special dude, man. I never had, I probably would have said 10 words to that dude the whole time I lived in America. Like, he just wasn't around any of the guys that I was around, and the guy, like, he was around Robbie a lot, but like not when I was around him. But man, the way people talk about Dr. G is like, he must be like a pretty special dude.
He's a great guy. I mean, he's just a good person, you can tell. I mean, he's like, he's just a really nice dude. He means well, he's smart, and he's like, I really owe that guy like the biggest debt of gratitude for all the help he did, for all the things he did for me. He's a good dude. And he does with a lot. I mean, you can see he's helping out like Justin Mulford right now a lot, and like he's doing, like, he helps dudes that are down and out, like with injuries, and he's got a lot. It's almost like a mentor type thing too. He's really good to be around. It's good positive energy. I like him a lot. If you're ever struggling with something and you're in California, like find that guy. Me.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, man, we definitely won't take up too much. I appreciate we just did 2.5 hours. Dude, you've got a fucking gnarly story, bro. And like, from day one of starting this thing, you're a guy I wanted to get on because like, we never really had that much to do with each other at all. We've
crossed paths a few times, but it's cool like sitting here talking to you. Like, I've watched your stuff, and we've crossed paths a few times, but I feel like I know you more than I know you just from that. And that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was always a thing, like. And dude, you're a guy that I judged when I was like deep in the scene. I was like, fuck this dude. Like, I wish that he would like do good, like when you'd hear like the crazy shit that you get in trouble. Like, I was one of those guys that would like listen to that stuff and be like, well, not like a leaving comments version of a hater, but like, you know what I mean?
Get it together, guy.
I'm like, why the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, like I was that dude, but like to hear.
Weren't that wrong.
but to sit here and like hear your story and stuff, and like it kind of makes sense the way that it plays out. Like, you got given fucking millions of dollars as a kid that come from like super humble beginning with young ass parents. Like dude, shit fucking plays out the way it plays out for a reason. Like, you can look back at it now and be like, I was fucked up, or I did this wrong, I fucked that up. But it's like, dude, like, you get given cards, man, and it's like, who am I to say that I would have done anything different to you if I had all of your experiences, bro?
You know what? Who knows? I mean, like I said, I wish I was smarter. I wish I did things different. But man, I've lived an awesome. Like, I've had the highest peaks and the lowest valleys. And I mean, what would it be cool if I just cruised right around down the middle? It wouldn't have been.
Yeah, there's something to be said about experiencing that much of what life has to offer.
And now I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and go whoop everybody's ass again, and we're just gonna be like whoosh, right back up.
Drop the mic, son. We out. That's Josh Hill, everybody. Thanks for doing it, bro. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Legend, dude. Fuck yes.